happy 4th of July and welcome to Dodger Stadium. Celebrating this 4th of July, Independence Day, the creation of a nation and the people who made it so. Also recognized today and part of the celebrations are the veterans who have kept it that way. And of course, part of the celebration always includes an eagle-eye view of fireworks and baseball. Well, we don't have the fireworks, but we got baseball. It's the Orioles on MASN celebrating the 4th of July and taking on the Dodgers as the Orioles' final 3 games on this road trip will be here at Dodger Stadium. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne. A very happy 4th of July. Hope it has been a good one for you. And we hope we can add to it here as the Orioles look to put a W up as they begin the final 3 games of a road trip that has been both very good and very bad. We'll see how it goes here against the Dodgers. However, baseball, 4th of July, they just go together. On the state, let's take a look at some of the things that have happened celebrating the 4th. In '85, the Mets defeated the Braves, one of the longest games ever. There were 4 rain delays. It took 6 hours and 10 minutes. Mets came away with a win. The fireworks went off at 4 in the morning. In '83, Dave Righetti no-hit the Red Sox. In '80, Nolan Ryan on July 4, his 3,000th strikeout. Tim McCarver had a grand slam that wasn't. He ran past a teammate on the bases. Timmy ended up with a 3-run single, no grand salami. That was in '76. Go back a little further. Armando Marsans, Rafael Almeida, the first Cuban natives to appear in a Major League game in 1911, about on the 4th of July. And on his birthday, Mickey Welch in 1881 threw not 1 but 2 complete games as Troy swept the doubleheader from the Buffalo Bisons. In 1939, probably the most famous 4th of July, they honored Lou Gehrig at Yankee Stadium with baseball's longest, greatest speech. And for the Orioles on a 4th of July, Jim, their hope, find some pitching and get a W.
Yeah, I think fireworks for the Orioles would be 1 more run than the opposition. And, you know, that's the basis of winning. We always talk about it. I learned that when I was 18 playing for Cal Ripken Sr. But at the end of the day, you know, Dodgers a good home team. Orioles want to play. Yeah, it's 4th of July. You obviously, I mean, you celebrate this day because it is our Independence Day. But you're on the road. You got to L.A. last night. You're going to play different times the next couple of days. So you just want to get back on the winning track. And I think, Gary, the most important thing, they have not had a 5-game losing streak. 3 7-game winning streaks. They need a win today.
See if they can get it ready to go on this 4th of July as the Orioles on the West Coast will be wrapping up.
Let's go!
Oriole fans on hand, and when we come back, Bobby Dickerson will join us.
Let's go!
Baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by visitannapolis.org. Create your moment at visitannapolis.org. Here in Los Angeles, beautiful evening on this July 4 for a ball game. They'll have a big fireworks display here at the ballpark after. For Bobby Dickerson, the Orioles' third base coach, he's done a lot of managing along the way, a lot of managing in the minor leagues. There you see his cities, the Appalachian League title in 96 and 97 with the Cubs for a number of those years. He's had a chance to manage in winter ball before, and he's going to get another chance this coming winter ball season. We said to him, congratulations.
I was contacted about managing down in the Dominican Winter League, and it's an honor. It really is. It was nice to be thought of. I wasn't seeking it out, and the opportunity came my way, and I agreed to it. But again, my focus right now is 100% being a third base coach for the Orioles and trying to win this season and win the pennant and get into the playoffs.
And it looks like, as expected, Bobby, this is going to be a race again. You can't seem to get a big enough lead in any division, but especially the American League East.
Yeah, this division is tough. Since I've been here in my fourth year, and every team from top to bottom is capable of beating anyone any given night, and we know that. We have to play our best baseball, and it's when you let down at times the game will bite you, and we try not to have those moments. And we're coming off of a tough series, and we have to bounce back here in Chavez Ravine.
A lot of years around this game, a lot of talk always every year about East Coast teams coming west. Do you buy any of it that it's more difficult coming out here to play than staying near home?
It's definitely something to it because I've been kind of messed up since I've been here. I know in Seattle seemed like I was tired all the time and wondering why, and I thought it was my allergies. I couldn't figure out what it is, but it's weird. You turn the TV on and there's a game going on as soon as you get to the ballpark, and it's just not normal, So, just now getting accustomed to it, I believe. I finally slept in to about 8 o'clock today. I've been getting up at 5:30 every day, so I slept until 8 o'clock and just in time to go back home.
Bobby, as a third base coach, we often talk about if you're not scoring a lot of runs, maybe you're a little more aggressive in sending runners. In the Orioles' case, if you're giving up a lot of runs, does it have the same effect on you at third base, thinking about what to do?
Well, you know what? We try to think game situations and runners and outfield arms, and I try not to think about how we're hitting and necessarily, we're putting out 6 runs a game. If this situation calls for me to attempt to send, weighing in all the things that come my way, I send him. And sometimes it backfires, sometimes not. And we had a situation the other day, we're down 4, and had JJ on second base and with 2 outs. And it's like, okay, is it a bang-bang slide play at the plate? Do I send him? Probably not in that situation. Down 4, let another hitter come up. It would be back to the top of the lineup. I mean, I just remember distinctly those thoughts going through my mind that night. And then at times there's times where I'm going to be a little more aggressive and say, okay, I'm going to force them to make a play. But for the most part, it's just game situations, and I try not to let the way we're swinging the bat, because you can get yourself in trouble. Okay, we're not scoring many runs. Let me just force this send here. You get yourself in a lot of trouble there in situations when you think about that, because every one of these major league hitters is capable at any given moment.
Bobby, last question. Dodger Stadium, don't see it a lot, obviously. Long time for the Orioles. Anything quirky about this from your position as a third base coach as you look at?
No, I look out there and I just see the history here and just excited to be here. I'll make sure when we start BP, I'm going to walk the field, make sure I check out all the corners and all. But for the most part, we have a good advanced system here and kind of good feel on what their outfielders do, who plays the ball off the wall well, who throws well, so on and so forth. But for the most part, it's just for me getting through the awe of being here. It's pretty nice to this is one of the last 3 stadiums I have left to see, and it's awesome to be here.
Well, let's just hope he has a productive night tonight. Waving him in. 4th of July, get him in. But I'll tell you what, if you're a young Manny Machado, Jonathan Schoop, and you have the chance to work with him, that's why they're as good as they are.
Take a look at our BGE home game time temperature. It is 74 degrees. Blue skies, BGE home. Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? Starting lineup for the Orioles brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Jones, Schoop, and Machado, Trumbo, Davis, and Wieters. Hardy, Rickert, and Gallardo, of course, hitting. Jonathan Schoop, good road trip.
And they'll face the 19-year-old left-hander out of Mexico. So he's really been pitching well. Last 5 starts, ERA about 2.49. He's got a fastball. He can get up as high as 95. Good breaking ball, good changeup. And talking to A.J. Ellis, one of the 2 catchers here, said he has great mound presence.
So we're ready to go, and we open up the series with Adam Jones again going after the first pitch, as he has done so often on this trip, and fouls it off. Not a lot of Orioles have played against the Dodgers or played here. Orioles have played only 3 games in Los Angeles, 0-3 here at Dodger Stadium. They are 3-6 lifetime in regular season games against the Dodgers. Jones will take that one on a soft liner to second base. Chase Utley is there.
Take a look at the defense here at Dodger Stadium. Venable, Thompson, Puig, Turner, Seager, Utley, and Gonzalez. Grandal will do the catching out of Cuba. Big power hitter.
Jonathan Scope coming up. For Jonathan, a 3-game hit streak coming in. Breeze blowing out towards left field for the start of the ball game. Left-hander's delivery will be taken for a strike. Orioles continue to see a lot of left-handers. They are 13-10. 13-10 against left-handed starters. 3rd best win percentage in the American League. That ball taken in the air to right field. A lot of sun this time of day. SCL Puig is out there and will put it away. Scope is retired.
Yeah, you can look along. So again, the only thing, I mean, it is twilight, so it's tough to see, but you don't have any kind of bands of light between the pitcher and home plate. But if you're playing center field, especially right field, I imagine at least getting a good jump might be difficult. That was pretty routine play.
Yep. So Arias, the left-hander, 1-2, 7-game starts, filling in with the injuries that have occurred to the Dodgers staff. Will face Manny Machado. Manny against the Dodgers, 3 for 13 lifetime. He has 1 home run against LA. Manny continues among the leaders in the offensive categories in the American League, and leading the Orioles in hits, 104. That's 4th in the league starting the day. And the breaking ball will be taken inside. Manny also 4th in average, continues to be just 1 behind Mookie Betts of Boston in multi-hit games. Left-hander's delivery to him, and a swing and a miss. He's got a good curveball and a good changeup.
Yeah, I think that was a changeup. That's the pitch that Adam Jones lined to second. Again, it just kind of pulled the string. He's kind of in between. You've talked about all the lefties. They saw Paxton up in Seattle throwing close to 100, and then you saw LeBlanc, who was kind of maybe in between these 2.
Orioles have trouble with the soft tossing stuff, this change-ups and the breaking balls.
Yeah, but I went back, and here's another one, but I went back and looked at his last game in Milwaukee. He was throwing 92 to 95 up and in. He reminded me of a guy that would hurt his shoulder but came up with the Angels, Frank Tanana. Pretty good stuff.
Only 19 years old. Pitch will be taken up and in. Last 5 starts for him. He's gone 1-1 with an ERA of 2.49. During those games, he's held opponents to a .217 batting average, so he's gotten better with each start. That ball is going to go to Utley, and he hauls it in. Line drive catch by Utley, and Machado robbed of a potential extra base hit. So 1-2-3 inning. Gallardo to the mound when we come back. great to see our former broadcast partner now working here in Los Angeles with the family. Todd on the right, her husband, and Dylan and Cam are there. The 10-month-old is home. Hi! Had a great chance to see him before the game. They're all here to enjoy the Orioles. Take a look at the Dodgers lineup. Utley, Seager, and Turner. Gonzalez, Thompson, and Puig. Grandal, Venable, and Uris, the pitcher. Seager's got the longest hit streak right now in the majors.
And Yasmani Gallardo looking to continue what he was able to do down in San Diego. He's won his last 2. They've gotten him a lot of run. He throws a lot of balls that move, cutters, and whatever. ERA high from early on. So the hits per inning are coming down. And again, the left-handed batting average went down in San Diego. Did get hurt on the Wallace home run, 3-run home run, the only runs he gave up. So not overpowering, but again, he kind of moves the ball around the strike zone, and then he's got the big slow curveball to try to get you out.
Chase Utley, their leadoff batter, and Utley will take that one for a strike. Utley, the veteran, he has faced Gallardo just once, gone 1 for 1 against him. Fine play at second base by Utley on Machado to deny him a hit and get out of the inning with only 3 faced. 1-1 pitch. Gallardo will lay that one in for a strike. Gallardo telling us the other day that he feels he's back 100% after coming off the DL. He said the arm feels really good. You can tell by how the ball is coming out of his hand, ability to locate and getting the movement that he wants on it. 1-2 delivery to Utley, and that'll be up high. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Gallardo, of course, has pitched against the Dodgers. He's got a 3-4 record with a 4.6 ERA. 9 career starts against them prior to this. Last time when he was with Texas, June of last year, he faced the Dodgers. That one right where they weren't playing, an enormously long throw. Machado won't get him. Manny was moved over, and as a result, a base hit.
Well, we saw it up in Seattle. Even Seth Smith, who hit the grand slam and the 3-run home run. And boy, anytime you have to go that far and you're playing that deep, I mean, it makes it close. But again, Utley 37 runs well enough to beat it out. So you make a good pitch, you get a bad result, but that's the new type of defense.
So the leadoff man's on for the Dodgers, and here is Seager. The numbers he's putting up, absolutely phenomenal. Another left-handed bat in this lineup. The lefties hitting .323 off Gallardo, and the right-handers .261. And all the home runs Gallardo's given up have been hit by left-handers. Seager's got 17 of his own, and over the last 10 games, wow.
Yeah. Well, he's hitting .415 over the 16-game hit streak, so they're not just 1-for-4s.
Pitch on the way to him, and that'll go down to first. That'll be fouled. He had to go upstairs a little bit on it and chopped it foul.
Yeah, I was talking to a lot of advanced scouts that have seen him play, and they say, boy, he's a special hitter. Big guy. We just saw his brother had a great series. Kyle, an all-star for the Mariners, third baseman. There's Dave Roberts, first year as the manager here in Los Angeles for the Dodgers.
National League Rookie of the Month, Corey Seager. He will pop that one up. Who's got the angle? Hardy says I do, and will put it away. And Seager is retired.
Yeah, take a look at the Oriole defense. Really good pitchers park. Ricker, Jones, and Trumbull. That's the outfield. Machado, Hardy, Scope, and Davis. Matt Wieters off day yesterday. An opportunity to catch.
Here is Justin Turner. Turner also putting up some really solid numbers. He comes in with a 4-game hit streak. Turner getting the start at third base. He is 6 for 15 lifetime against Gallardo. With Utley on at first base now, 1 away. And the defense will be about as straight up as you see it against anybody. And the pitch will be taken inside for a ball. During the 4-game hit streak, he's gone 8 for 16. So it has been a powerful streak that he has put up. Batting in the number 3 spot, and you got Gonzalez following him in this lineup. So you got some pop here. Yeah, Utley a short lead.
And there's a good fastball at 91. I mean, that's pretty much where, you know, Bonnie's going to top out it. I mean, that's, you know, he won 13 games for the Rangers last year. He did not. I mean, only pitched, what, 4 innings over into the 7th inning. So he's a 6th inning pitcher. Was last year, won 13 games, low ERA. Boy, if you can get 6 quality innings out of him, you'll be happy.
And the delivery is slow roll. It's going to go to Hardy. Hardy to Scope. Scope the relay over to first. Nope. Good slide, and Jonathan deciding better to hang on to the baseball, so they get the out on Utley.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's the one that had the new rule because of in the World Series. So again, did he come across the bag? Tell you what, he actually went to the other side of the bag. And again, there's no chance to turn.
So Turner will be on with the fielder's choice. Utley out of there, and that'll bring up Adrian Gonzalez, a name known to the Orioles. He has really hit the Orioles hard in his career. A .379 average, 2 home runs. This is the 44th game that Gonzalez has played against the Orioles. He too got a hit, has a hit streak going of 4 games in which he's 6 for 15. So Turner now at first. Gallardo's delivery to him will be way up high. For the Dodgers, as far as the running game's concerned, only 25 stolen bases. You compare that to the 12 that have been picked up by the Orioles. This is a team that wins on pitching and bunching some hits together to score runs. And that one's in the dirt. Good stop by Wieters.
Yeah, the big curveball. And yeah, Adrian, of course, interleague at bats, and then the year and a half or so with the Red Sox, 2010 and 11, and power to all fields and the line drives to all field. And the average, you know, you know you're going to do a series. The average come up about 12 points over the last couple of weeks. So not a lot of power numbers, Gary, but the average certainly.
He set a couple of days, and apparently the rest really did some good. He's come back and fire. The pitch will be taken outside, so Gallardo will work the count to 3 balls and 1 strike on Gonzalez. The Dodgers offense, they are 13th in average, but they are 10th in runs. They're 8th in home runs, 6th in walks. So it is a very average offense for the Dodgers among the National League listings. 3-1 delivery, and he walked in.
Yeah, it's almost like he said, I'll take my chance with Trace Thompson, who's on deck, right-handed power hitter.
Center fielder number 21, Trace Thompson.
Gallardo has 2 on with Thompson coming up. There are the home numbers.
Yeah, so they're really good at home, and I mean, you can see obviously not as good early. 17 out of last, 9 in a row, and look at the pitching. Yeah, they're a totally different club on the road. They average 3.85 runs over the course of the year here, but on the road it's about almost 3/4 of a run more. But how about a .270 ERA? Still about a .2 more than they give up here.
Trace Thompson, he will take the pitch inside. Another one of the young players on this team, only 25 years old. He is from Los Angeles, lives at Dana Point. In fact, now he had a 7-year minor league career. He hit .295 in the minors, came up last year at Charlotte at AAA. Now gets a chance at the big league level and fouls it back. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Thompson.
Yeah, his brother played for the Warriors. Clay Thompson, the 3-point days, and I don't remember. I know he played a little bit for the White Sox last year, but if you go back and look, I mean, he's very athletic, terrific outfielder with big time power. I think the one number that jumps out, 137 with runners in scoring position, and probably low even if you are a young player.
He had 44 major league games with Chicago, his only major league experience prior to this season. So they've relied on some youngsters with Seager in the lineup, Thompson, Turner. I mean, they've gotten some production out of them, and for Dave Roberts, they're in the mix. 5 games behind the Giants coming into today's play. Giants won, so they are 5.5 behind San Francisco at the moment. The Orioles have a 2.5 game lead over the Red Sox at the moment. Boston having won today as well. 1-2 delivery and a strike in the outside corner. Well located. Gallardo gets out of it. So the Dodgers gone. No runs on 1 hit. No errors. They leave 2 on base. No score after 1. Collected 500 or more for every Orioles home run hit tonight. Play home run Rich's scratch offs went up to 50,000. Enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/baseball. Hope you had a great 4th of July. The Orioles begin literally the second half of their season as they have passed that 81 game mark. Mark Trumbo, Davis, and Wieters. Orioles currently 2-4 on this road trip that'll wrap up here with the 3 games. A season high 4-game losing streak coming in. And Mark will take the pitch up high. Trumbo, his 33rd game against the Dodgers. A ballpark he said I love to play in, but it hasn't done much for me. He's hitting 197 with a home run here at Dodger Stadium. That one is wrapped. That'll up the average a little bit. Base hit to left field.
Yeah, Seager almost caught that one after a couple of line drives, one soft, one hard. Utley was able to snare in the first. Yeah, the hanging curveball, that's not something you want to live on if pitching to Trumbo.
Our Maryland Live Casino inside the numbers in that something's got to give category we talked about, Jim.
Yeah, well, there you go. And, you know, of course, the Orioles offense, it's terrific. You know, the runs per game. It's really kind of the pitching, and so it just good pitching, good hitting. Well, here, as we showed you, they've won 17 out of 20 because they pitched lights out of the baseball.
Oof. Interesting matchup for this 3-game set. Orioles have their first hit, and here is Chris Davis. Chris will take the pitch for a strike. This is a pitcher who is not reverse in numbers, but goes by the book. The left-hander's 188. And right-handers 284. A big differential. Shift is on in the Dodger infield. 0-1 delivery on the way. Breaking ball outside. As the sun settles into right field before it disappears over Chavez Ravine. Delivery on the way by the lefty and missed.
Little changeup. I think he wanted it. Get it out over the plate. It'd be 2-0. One of those changeups you want, but you really that's only because you want the count to be in your favor, which it isn't.
Chris has had a .500 batting average against the Dodgers with a home run. None of it here. And the pitch taken up high. So Davis being pitched around a little bit here, trying to stay away from that fat part of the bat. And the count goes to 3-1.
Well, if Julio watched the film of up in Seattle, the 2 home runs that Chris hit were to left center.
3 ball, 1 strike pitch on the way. And he walked him.
Yeah, and I know you want that pitch. You want the corner, and didn't get it.
And that may be the case for most of the ball game. Mark Carlson, home plate umpire, according to the players over the years, has favored the hitters pretty predominantly. So pitchers are going to have to throw strikes in a small zone probably if that stays true. Mike DeMuro, Pat Holberg, Quinn Walcott are the umpires in this series. Now double play depth. The Orioles get a chance to get on the board. Matt Wieters. And Matt will take the pitch for a ball.
And there's a curveball right down the middle of the plate. You know, it is hard to see whether you're hitting or umpiring, apparently. I mean, that curveball split the middle of the plate. Matt just took it like he knew it wasn't going to be called.
Matt at $173 off lefties, 301 off right-handers. And that's going to be a strike. That will catch on the outside corner. Well, the Orioles would love to get a lead. They found that so hard to do against Seattle. Seattle scoring early on them and maintaining leads for virtually all of the 4 games.
Well, you talked about it all weekend. Every time the Orioles would catch up, they'd add some, and that didn't fare well as you lose 4 in a row up there.
Yeah. 1-1 delivery on the way. Wieters will take that, and that one also there for a strike. 2 pretty good pitches at the knees on the outside part of the plate. So 1-2.
Well, Urias he's only about 6 feet, a little bit over 200 pounds, and as you mentioned, 19 years old. But the film that I saw, the game against Milwaukee, he did throw the ball downhill, so he does get on top of his pitches.
1 ball, 2 strike count. He's a fly ball pitcher. In the air to right field. Puig back. Got it. Runner tags. Trumbo will head to third. Throw is going to come into third. That allows a runner to go to second. And gets in. Good base running by Chris Davis.
Yeah, they're going to boo, and they should, because that's the way Puig plays for right field. I mean, right here they're going to check to see if. But again, there's no reason not to just to hit the cutoff man. Right here, Trumbo. Again, it's a sun field. Head down, makes a strong throw, but not even close to the cutoff man. And then a heads up base running right there by Chris Davis. But the only thing maybe Justin Turner could have done is cut it off a little bit earlier and maybe get the out. But that's a gift for the Orioles.
Puig has, for his career here with the Dodgers, had one thing after another that has taken him out of the lineup at times. And boy, the Orioles, that's a real break for them.
Yeah, that's just one of those emotional plays, and but again, I mean, he does it every year.
Yeah. Well, it's flash over substance. I mean, it's what it is. Fundamentals get lost. 1 down. Big chance for the Orioles. J.J. Hardy. There are the numbers for J.J. on the season. Hardy against the lefties, 233, almost the same as he has against the right-handers. And the Orioles need a base hit right here just to get the offense chugging.
Yeah, you take a fly ball of any depth just to get a run in and get the lead.
Outside with it. 1 ball, 1 strike. JJ's done an exceptional job in these situations, hitting .304, way above his season average. Runners at second and third. Urias delivers, and the pitch will be outside. GRANDAL with a nice stop of 1 in the dirt. So the 19-year-old goes 2 balls and 1 strike on Hardy.
Yeah, and if you watch the film, and I'm sure the scouting report says the same thing, just because it's 2-1 doesn't mean it's a fastball count. Not too many 19-year-old kids can do that.
2-1 the count. Defense back. Hardy lines it foul into the first row.
And there's your changeup. Legendary broadcaster, Hall of Fame broadcaster Vinny Scully said, well, okay, you saw Teddy Higuera pitch with Milwaukee. He came up to the big leagues a little bit older at 27. Check out that number right there, 226 with runners in scoring position. League average is about 257. But other than not having the screwball, he said, it reminds me because of the age more of Fernando Valenzuela, who came up at age 20.
2 ball, 2 strike count. Hardy trying to get a run in, only 1 away. And the pitch to him, and JJ takes that one down the line the other way, and that's going to be foul. We had talked about JJ and his running in Seattle, especially in yesterday's game, was tough. And we were talking before the ball game today. There's nothing physically wrong that he can't play. It's just coming back and getting himself back into playing condition. He's had muscles that have tightened up a little bit sore. But he said there's nothing that prevents me from being out there. There's no physical injury of any kind. 2-2 delivery, and the count's going to go full. JJ was digging, grinding it out in the ball game against Seattle. There was not a lot in the giddy up.
Yeah, but he kept getting hits. That's the amazing thing.
Exactly. Well, as long as he's standing still, body's fine.
And then didn't seem to bother him defensively.
3 ball, 2 strike count. Trumbo's on at third base. Base hit. Davis with a walk. Moving up to second. Now Hardy will try and get him in. His 27th game against the Dodgers for the Orioles shortstop. 3-2 delivery, and that'll again be foul back and out of play. So a battle here.
Yeah, you guys to go to another level and get it by him in 94, and JJ able to foul it off, and it is tough to see. It just seems like on the West Coast, I mean, really pretty much everywhere, twilight almost takes to about 9 o'clock where the lights take effect.
This is going to be the 8th pitch of this at bat to Hardy. Again, the 3-2 delivery, and Hardy will ground that one foul. So JJ Willie wearing the left-hander out here in this at bat, and only one away. The Orioles could really force a very large pitch count here in the second inning if Hardy can deliver a base hit.
Yeah, 17 strikes and 12 balls, 29 total pitches. Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach here in Los Angeles for the Dodgers.
See what happens on pitch number 9 of this at bat. 3-2 delivery on the way. What happens is pitch number 10.
Well, he's trying everything. Fastballs up, changeups down, and he hasn't gotten them to roll over. And then I'm not sure he'll throw a 3-2 hook, but I wouldn't put it past him. And again, only 19. It's just amazing. But you talked about all the injuries. Brandon McCarthy came back from Tommy John yesterday, pitched very well. They traded for Bud Norris. Ray Yu he's almost back with his shoulder problems. Kershaw on the disabled list with a back problem. So they needed starting pitching.
3-2 delivery, and Hardy got it. Going to drive it into the gap. Puig over and can't get it. All the way to the wall. Trumbo will score. Davis is coming around. Here's the no throw to the plate. Chris will score as well. And J.J. Hardy, a tremendous at-bat, delivers a 2 RBI double to put the Orioles on the board.
Well, you get to see 11 pitches. It still doesn't get a whole lot easier when you're not seeing real well, but this fastball's down the middle. And again, he's not pulling the ball. Puig almost makes a terrific play. And I thought he's going to run it down. It's not that he should have caught it, but that would have been a fabulous play. Orioles would have gotten one, but instead Davis scores after holding up because he thought he might catch it too, all the way from second base.
So 16 RBIs now for J.J. Hardy, and the Orioles put a couple up on the board, still only one away, and here's Joey Rickard. Those runs are going to be the first runs scored off Dodger starters in the last 24 innings. They came in with 22 scoreless innings for Dodger starters into this ball game. Hardy takes care of that streak with a 2-bagger. Joey Rickard will pop that one up and back, and that'll be out of play. So the Orioles get a lead, and it matters when you've lost 4 in a row and had the team you're playing against, Seattle, get out on front every game. The Buck Showalter's ball club kind of puts things on the right path. Rickard with the 0-2. Hardy off second, and the off-speed deliveries away.
Yeah, Seattle hit so well in that 4-game series. If you had thrown the rosin bag up there, they might have hit an extra base hit. That's just the way it looked. Everybody got their hits. They used the whole field. But this is a huge game because I kind of like the fact that Tillman and Gausman are pitching the next 2 here.
1-2 delivery on the way. He started after. Did he go? Nope. Like DeMiro down at first.
So 19 years old. I mean, very simple. Break your hand. I mean, that's a classic Oriole delivery. Now, I'm not sure he's getting over his front side as much as he would like. You could see him kind of land really on the right side of his front foot. And that will get the ball up in the zone a little bit more.
2 ball, 2 strike count. Rickard will take that one away, and that's going to miss. And the count will go 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, a lot of times your center field angle doesn't give you the whole story. Watch where the glove is. I mean, he really doesn't move the glove at all. He thought he had the corner. So it is a tight strike zone. Or at least it appears that way.
Rickard, a .308 average against left-handers. Hardy off second. Full count delivery on the way. Jammed him.
And the other thing is, you got a guy, you know, normally when you come to the big leagues in the National League, you don't have a guy like Gallardo on deck who, you know, he hadn't hit all year. He got 2 hits down in San Diego. So you've already given up 2. You got a guy, and he may not know this, but hitting 300 or a couple of points higher against lefties, and there's no sure out in the on deck circle.
The Reyes really struggling here through the 2nd inning. 3-2 delivery again. Rickard will chop that one foul. The Orioles, I mean, look at that pitch count. He's up to 38. And it's because of all these foul balls and these long at bats that the Orioles are putting those numbers up and forcing the issue against him. And they've seen everything he's got to offer here in the 2nd inning about 3 times already. Made his debut May 27. Youngest Dodger starter since '63, at the age of 19. And that one up in the air, left field, not deep. Thompson. Hardy will stay at second base, 2 down. And here is that big bat coming up. Jim was talking about our PNC inside the numbers.
Yeah, I think you got to kind of go down here and then look at the home runs, and that's certainly the thing that tells. And then what they say after the game, they scored 11 runs, I guess, on the last game in San Diego on Wednesday, and they were all saying maybe the hardest hit ball, which I don't think is the case, was a line drive he hit into left field, but he did hit it hard. 2
for 3 with a run scored this year. Gallardo will take the pitch, and it is up high. Here's the game, San Diego.
Yeah, he got and this was off Friedrich, and you know, started out a pretty close game. Friedrich with a no-hitter into the 4th inning, and then the Orioles would get to him.
2 down, runner at second. Hardy, breaking ball again, is going to be up high, and you see him staring in, wanting, he wants a new baseball, but
he wants a new umpire, really.
Yeah,
I think is what he wants.
He's had a number of these calls where he thought he had strikes, and Mark Carlson not agreeing, and so he's fallen behind hitters, and that's cost him these long counts.
Well, you would imagine with his changeup, this would not be a fastball count. Because GRANDAL, he's got to know that Gallardo can swing the bat.
And that will be their first strike. Came in with it in 93.
He did get a fastball to hit. I thought he would maybe pull the string.
He's been a strikeout pitcher along the way. Minor league career, held hitters to a .213 batting average, 308 strikeouts, 263 minor league innings. 2-1 delivery on the way. The lefty's pitch will be there at the knees, and the count will go to 2-2. Three operations to his left eye. That's why the glasses are worn during his presence on the mound. So he's had to overcome more than just other baseball players to reach it here. With some physical eye problems as well. And that one will miss, bounces a little bit. So again, the count will go to 3-2, and that wasn't close. There's Adam Jones.
That's right. Gallardo gets on, and you've already back to 1, and you're out of the second.
The 4-3-2 count already. And wow, he thought he had him.
Well, he's not giving him anything, and he's kind of looking in, and you know, Dave Roberts going to yell at him. How about going out to the mound and telling him how bad he is?
Adam Jones.
It's the old Earl Weaver trick. He's just not getting anything, and again, the Orioles, when they get their pitches, aren't missing them, and that's kind of what happened to them up in Seattle. They're not happy.
Now they got to settle him down, and you see Carlson going to the bench. All right, that's enough.
Yeah, I've been on benches, especially whether it was Hank Barrow when I started, or Earl, or Joe Alibelli. It's great the umpire to come over. All you want him to do is call the strikes a strike and balls balls. So they're not happy with the strike zone, and the Orioles have a huge opportunity to expand this lead.
Adam Jones coming to the plate. Adam lined down his first time up. Hardy's on at second, the 2 RBI double. Gallardo's on. You walk the opposing pitcher, no matter how good a hitter he may be as a pitcher. That is a distinct no-no. Baez is up in the bullpen already for the Dodgers. Delivery to Adam Jones. That'll be outside for a ball. The fans, of course, reacting to the Dodgers complaints, booing themselves on the call. Adam trying to get a run in here or more. Hardy's getting a very big secondary lead at second base. Utley playing back on the outfield grass. And he's going to get one. That's going to fall in center field. Hardy, bad wheels and all, coming to the plate. Here's the throw off the mark. He's safe. An RBI base hit for Adam Jones, and the Orioles have a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, you can just imagine, if you're 19 years old and they're not giving you the borderline strikes, you do have to throw more for the middle. Looks like he hangs a changeup. And again, it stays up, and this is the same pitch that Adam hit the first time, but he hit it at Utley at second base this time, right into center field. And then J.J. Hardy going on contact with 2 outs scores rather easily.
So Adam Jones adds to his RBI totals. Adam's got 52 on the year now. The Orioles still have runners at first and second base, and a long second inning continues, and that will call for a visit to the mound to allow Baez to get ready. And also, you see, even with Honeycutt out there, the 19-year-old young pitcher staring over his shoulder in at home plate, and Carlson's going out to break it up. He only got 30 seconds. I'm sure Carlson would just as soon not take this walk, because he'd probably hear something from somebody out there in a white uniform.
Well, that's how you get thrown out. And he's going to tell them, hey, how about giving us the borderline pitches? And the Orioles are saying, hey, we like it exactly the way it is.
Now, they've already used their 30 seconds. The clock's expired. And Carlson breaks up the confab. They had the entire infield in, along with the pitching coach, Rick Honeycutt. So the Orioles putting across 3 runs, the walks in the inning. Davis, he has already scored. Gallardo is on at second base, the other walk, and now Adam Jones on at first. Still 2 down. Jonathan Scope goes after the changeup.
And a good one.
Orioles as a team coming in 297 with runners in scoring position. That's first in the American League, second in the majors. Dodgers are 9th in the National League in that department. 0-1 delivery on the way, and Scope will take that one inside.
And then you get another red hot Oriole hitter of all the guys up in Seattle. What, he was 5 for 16 with a double. Jonathan has been one tough out since the end of May, and he can hit it anywhere, and he can hit it out of the ballpark.
Not an accident with the development of Jonathan Scope. He had to go upstairs to try and get a hold of that one, and will foul it off. And Jonathan with a 1-ball 2-strike count. Scope pushing the average up. Tough to move the average, of course, when you've had as many at bats as these regular players have had now. Jonathan Scope over 300 at bats, and at the 300 mark. Bullpen is ready if needed. 1-2 delivery on the way, and went upstairs after the heater. So that'll do it. Staring in the 19-year-old at the home plate umpire. The Orioles pick up 2 on a Hardy double. 2-0 ball game. The Orioles would add to that Adam Jones. He would pick up the single. Orioles up 3-0. DynCorp International, proudly serving our nation for 70 years. By Navy Federal Credit Union. Navy Federal proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA. And by USAA Insurance, Banking, and Investments. Tailored for the military community. We air our broadcast here on Maston in celebration of Independence Day. 240th birthday for the U.S. of A. And we hope you had a good one. Just remember, if you're still up, which you are if you're watching the game, if you're not and you're hearing this, knock 3 times on the wall and say, I want to go back. If you haven't gone to bed yet, though, you want to go out there and clean the grill. Because I know you cooked all day on it. You didn't clean it off. You didn't use a wire brush. You left it out there. It's going to attract bugs all night long. So just go out and brush off the grill, get it done, and cover it up.
Exactly what I was thinking.
I know you were. That's why I said that.
A long West Coast trip, we're thinking like this.
Yes, well, that's really a problem. Yeah, that's for both of us.
You know, we fit right in with an anime convention at our hotel. That was perfect.
Yasiel Puig.
Well, you know, he wants to do something because he didn't hit the cutoff man. Streaky, big time power. Right center, left center.
He's been hitting well. 10 of the last 12. He's had at least 1 hit. Came off the DL on June 21. And he got that one. Adam Jones going back in center. And goodbye, home run. Puig.
There you go. Hanging curveball. Story of Seattle. You score and then you give them back.
7th home run is 26 RBI.
Yeah, he got it out of here pretty quickly, didn't he?
To the deepest part of the ballpark.
Yeah, here it is. Oh, I want it back. And he knows it's gone. He'll kind of cruise right out of the box and then start running.
So Puig puts the Dodgers on the board. And it is a 3-1 ball game. Yasmani Grandal. He will take the pitch up high for a ball. Dodger catcher. He comes in with a 3-game hit streak. Ray Gallardo, that is the 5th home run that he has surrendered. And that pitch is going to be in there for a strike.
He throws a lot of balls in the middle, but that's that little cutter. You can see it at 87. Fastball will be 90, maybe 89 and 91. But he gets back and counts with it. There's another one. It looks really hittable, but yeah, I think the cutter, and a lot of hitters will tell you, it just kind of moves. It doesn't have a lot of spins. You don't pick it up, and I think it's you know, late breaking, even though it ends up in the middle of the plate, and hitters can be befuddled by it.
And that one's up high. So despite all those home runs hit by Seattle, the Oriole pitching staff overall still has given up the 5th fewest home runs. Now the Orioles starting pitchers are also in that same category, 5th fewest, which is pretty amazing. Seattle's Baker's dozen hit in that 4-game series.
Yeah, some of them came off the bullpenners, but the last 2, that's where the Orioles really got knocked around, especially the starters. Tyler Wilson, you know, he only pitched 3 innings, and that was another problem. It just didn't pitch as. Gosman went 6. Tillman went 4 1/3, and then Wilson 3, and yesterday Baldo didn't pitch what he wanted to.
9-iron down to first base, and that'll be a foul ball. So the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Orioles starters have pitched only 29 innings in the past 6 games. ERA is 7.76 in these 6 games played so far on the road. Has jumped up their ERA overall to almost 7. Oh my Lord. Right field towards the bullpen, way back, and goodbye home run. That's all the way to the back of the bullpen. Back-to-back home runs for the Dodgers. Grandal gets that one.
Yeah, I was talking to our good friend Gordon Lakey, being scout for the Phillies. I said, tell me about Grandal. He said, well, he's got a big swing. Maybe got some holes, but when he gets a hold of it, which he just did, another cutter in the middle of the plate, it can go a long way. And that's why he plays. See where the target is, but it just stays in, and it's boom. So
Grandal, a switch hitter, his 9th home run. And 8 of those have come from the left side of the plate. That thing went all the way back into the dark there of the bullpen. So back-to-back homers, Puig and Grandal. And it's a 1-run ball game. Here's the veteran Venable at the plate.
Yeah, and let's see with Will Venable up whether this is going to affect Gallardo's confidence in the sense that he's going to even nibble more.
Venable, a veteran. Another left-handed batter over the top on that one. He had his contract selected Friday. Second stint with the Dodgers. He had been designated for assignment in June. Outrighted to AAA. And now back up. Made his Dodger debut in June 14. That'll go to Davis, and Venable will be retired on the ground ball. So the first out of the second inning. The Orioles are joining all Major League Baseball and wearing special patriotic themed jerseys and caps honoring today. You can join in the celebration right now. Go to Orioles.com/auction and bid on these items, as the proceeds will benefit the USO of Metropolitan Washington, Baltimore. The bidding will close Thursday at 10. That's Orioles.com/auction. The hats like that, all of them will be autographed, authenticated. So the opposing pitcher, the 19-year-old, will stand in. Julio Urias. 1 for 8. And this is one for Gallardo. You just got to get. That'll go to third base on the late swing. Manny Machado. 2 down.
Yeah, he got a base hit, drove in a run in Milwaukee his last game. Kind of a check swing, similar to what he just did.
Number 26.
Can make contact. That's half the battle if you're a pitcher.
Orioles made more moves today, as the Oriole fans may know. Daniel Alvarez came up from AAA. Jason Aquino from AA. And infielder Pedro Alvarez is on the bereavement list. So Alvarez will not be back for this Dodger series. Will be back on Friday. And Ariel Miranda came up and pitched in the ballgame yesterday. Is sent right back to AAA. The left-hander. So Daryl Alvarez and Jason Aquino are with the ball club.
And my understanding is when somebody's on a bereavement, whatever you want to call it, on a bereavement trip or whatever, you can replace them every day of the 3 days.
Yes.
Which is the max. And so if you used Aquino tonight, you could actually have somebody else. Now, of course, got to get them out here.
Yeah,
or whatever. Yeah. So.
Yeah. The Orioles had to make these plans. You got to do it a day in advance, which is really hard to do when you're talking about the pitching, because you never quite know what you're going to need till the game's done. And a ground ball, chopper. Utley trying to beat it out, will not. Jonathan Scope is there to get it. Home runs. Puig, Grandal, back-to-back homers have made it a 3-2 game. Notebook to our East Winds page. So games today, the Rays over the Angels, Logan Morrison. And big ball game, couple of RBIs. The Rays snapped a 4-game losing streak. Those two teams battling for the cellar in their divisions. The Red Sox beat the Rangers 12-5 today. 21 hits, 13 extras. Rick Porcello won it. He's got a 10-game winner now in the year. And the Yankees lost to the White Sox 8-2. Sabathia gave up the 5 runs, 8 hits. Yankees 0 for 13 with runners in scoring position and committed 3 errors.
Yeah, the Rangers had a 4-0 lead before the Red Sox even hit in the first. They took care of business, though. Welcome to Fenway Park.
Yep. Well, let's see if the 19-year-old can settle down. Manny Machado. Machado will take it for a strike. Manny lined out. The Orioles sent 8 to the plate in the second inning, picked up 3 runs on 3 hits. Manny will go after it, hammers it, nice stop. Turner, long throw, and he got him. Good play.
Yeah, if he's playing even with the bag, they might have had to call the EMGs to bring him off the field. I mean, this is ball smacked. It's a hanging hook, and he's playing real deep. And that's a good thing. Makes it an easy play as long as he makes an accurate throw, which he does over to Adrian Gonzalez. Bam. Hot corner.
Nice one.
I remember when Dick Allen went to third. They go, how do you like it? He says, you either catch it or you don't. Sometimes you get hit it real hard.
Kind of a universal defensive sentence right there. That one is fouled off into the second deck. Trumbo a base hit and a run scored in his first time up.
Yeah, if I was a Dodger, I wouldn't be too concerned about Urias because the questionable pitches weren't called, and he certainly didn't stop pitching.
No.
That's what you really want to see from a 19-year-old guy, and then he has a bad inning, and then Gallardo gives up back-to-back home runs. You're right back in the game.
I was talking to Rick Mundy, the former player broadcaster of the Dodgers, and I said, what do you like most about him? And he said, you can't use the exact term, but it refers to a toughness.
Yes.
It refers to hanging in. Called strike on that. Yikes. Jumbo looking like, really? You really did that, eh?
Twilight. Umpires are having trouble seeing too.
1-2 on Mark, outfield deep. Venable way back in center, and that pitch is going to miss inside. They keep trying to jam him.
Looks like he's got a little cutter or maybe a slider to go with a curveball and a changeup.
Home run leader, 24 of them coming into today's play. That's for the majors. 4 home runs over his past 11 games, and in those 11 games he's had 11 RBIs. Real good road numbers. Mark is tied for first in RBIs on the road in the American League. He's tied for first in home runs at home and third in home runs away. And a fastball of 94.
Yeah, it's usually in the Trumbo zone, and that's out over the plate, belt high. Take a look. There's the glove from Grandal, and again he just gets it by him. I mean, he's a really good high ball hitter. And just can't get to it.
Shift put on. Third baseman Turner heads to the outfield and right. They'll leave Seager, the shortstop, on the left side. Chris drew a walk, scored in the second inning. Off-speed pitch, breaking ball that didn't, and a 1-0 count. Chris too has hit well. He's hit 324 last 8 games. 5 home runs in those games and 12 RBIs. And again, staying away from the power, pulling the hands in.
Yeah, the changeup, 2-seamer down and in, lefty to lefty, is really hard to get to. Chris was talking it a couple of weeks ago. He said, you think he can hit it? The only thing he can do is hit the top of the ball.
Ooh,
that one perfectly thrown up and in.
92. That one was in so far. He had to take the hand off the bat on the swing.
Yeah, the ball in, you know, whether you're righty or lefty, righty to righty, lefty to lefty, you got to hit it so far out in front.
Wow. Came right back. A 19-year-old who faced 8 in the second, gave up 3 runs, 3 hits, retires the side in order the next inning. Just a great picture. This Michael Beschloss, the historian, writer, commentator, had this on his Twitter account today, and it's the Pledge of Allegiance, photographed in Baltimore, 1955, and somehow that photograph just belongs on the 4th of July. That's a great shot. Don't know what the school was, wasn't named. The 1955 in Baltimore. Pretty good. Our town, Baltimore. 3-2 ball game. The Orioles on top, and the pitch, we take it down low. Corey Seager up again. Seager popped out his first time up. Dodgers with a 4-game win streak. During that win streak, they came in having allowed a total of 3 runs in 4 games. The Orioles have already picked up 3 runs in 2 innings.
Yeah, so they get to see Gallardo. He made a great pitch on Seager, and he threw him a cutter right underneath his hands, and he popped it up.
And Gallardo will miss with that one down low. Orioles against the Dodgers. They played in 2002, and the Dodgers won 2 out of 3 in Baltimore. 2004 they played out here. Dodgers took all 3. Last time these teams met, 2013, and the Orioles took 2 out of 3 games played in Baltimore. So only the second time for the Orioles here in Dodger Stadium regular season. 3-1 delivery on the way, and that'll be fouled out.
Yeah, hit it a long way. A little change up. Yeah, talking to Turner Ward, who's the batting instructor here, along with Tim Hires, the assistant. He said, I played with John Olerud the year he won the batting title up in Toronto, and he said that's who he reminds me of. He said he almost, for a young hitter, he's only 22, he knows where the bat is, and you got to know where the bat head is, and he said that's what all good hitters have in common.
Seager is gone. He thought he had a walk.
Yeah, I thought maybe the pitch earlier in the count was a strike up and in, and we didn't get that, and then they go away. It's been a tight zone. Take a look. Looks like the edge of the ball right on it. Perfect pitch. In and out. Change up in a fastball count, and then peppers the outside corner with a strike.
So that will bring Turner to the plate. Justin Turner, fielder's choice, his first time up. He played at Cal State Fullerton and a member of the 04 College World Series champions that year. Cal State won it.
He was an Oriole for a brief moment.
Yep.
Something like what? 25 at bats with the Orioles.
And the pitch will be taken outside for a ball. Looks like he has found a home.
Well, he was a great pinch hitter. He's a great high fastball hitter, and he's been red hot. What, 8 home runs in the last 26 games?
1-1's going to be inside to him. 2009 he played in 12 games with the Orioles. 2010 he played in 5 minor leagues. He'd been at Norfolk. He had a good 2009. Hit 300 at Norfolk that year. And the pitch will be taken away. Gallardo missing the outside corner, and it goes to 3-1.
Yeah, you can't, and we saw it up in Seattle, you can't afford to pitch in the middle of the plate 90-91 and at this level. So that's why Giovanni's just trying to, he's trying to run it in, cut it. He just had the curveball to Puig for the home run. There's another little cutter. And we see a lot of big swings.
Back over the screen on that one. Gallardo having to throw some pitches as the Dodgers have picked up in the number of pitches per at bat since that first inning.
And Gary, the other thing is almost all of them, all are up in the zone. And those are the balls where you supply the leverage for the hitters.
3 ball, 2 strike count. 1 down, nobody on. Turner again. fights that one off upstairs. A lot of full counts already in this ball game, and another one right here at 3-2. So these pitch number 7 of this at bat.
Yeah, 49 pitches, only 9 more strikes than balls, 29 versus 20. So trying to be exact.
3-2 delivery on the way, and he gets him. So Gallardo's got 3 strikeouts, 2 in a row here in the 3rd.
Yeah, back-to-back 92-mile-per-hour fastballs. And so again, all kinds of arm issues. You know, signed late, had to completely re-strengthen his arm, got a cortisone shot on the DL, and he's come back pitching like they thought he was going to pitch.
Boy, this could be such an enormous pitcher for the Orioles. He'll be solid in his starts the rest of the way. Here at Dodger Stadium, Gallardo's 2-1. This is his 4th start in this ballpark. He has a .605 earned run average here. Dodgers hit .308 against him in past years here at Dodger Stadium. Gonzalez threw a walk his first time up. 1-0 delivery to him, and he will miss down.
It's almost like he doesn't want to pitch to Gonzalez. I mean, it's going to either be right on the corner, or I'll take my chances with Trace Thompson, who's waiting on deck.
Gallardo against him, 5 for 21 with 1 home run. He's faced him as much as anybody. Only he and Venable really have had any substantial number of at-bats against Gallardo.
Well, the thing is, if you do walk him, the one thing I used to be conscious of, not that great of numbers, but he's not going to steal any bases.
And wow, he walked him on 4 straight.
Yeah, it's a strange strike zone. I don't think the hitters or the pitchers know what is a strike and what isn't. I just look at the glove. And it's right there. And Matt Wieters almost does a double take. So it is what it is. There'll be a lot of pitches tonight.
Yeah, a lot of pitches. Couple of walks. Here is Thompson. Strikeout victim his first time up. Trace Thompson, 282 here at Dodger Stadium, 204 on the road. 9 of his 13 home runs have been hit here. Pitch will be taken outside. Gallardo's pitch count now climbing up.
Well, he gets in a bad habit, and we saw him earlier in the year when he had some arm problems where he just kind of starts going left. So, and you're really throwing the ball back to home plate. So watch the head and the shoulder.
Fouls that one away. Take a look at the rookie numbers. These Dodgers have got a couple up there among the leaders. Seager, Thompson have been outstanding. I mean, Seager obviously is lighting everything up. Story has been the big story with a power bat.
Yeah, he had 7 home runs in his first 6 games, and he's got 19. Yeah, Seager with the hitting streak, and there's Diaz having a nice year for the Cardinals.
Boy, those are big rookie numbers. Those are some really fine rookie players. Pitches taken up high. Usually when you look at rookie numbers, the numbers, while they may be 1 or 2 among rookies, the numbers tend to be down compared to veterans, as you would expect. But the rookies you saw there, their numbers are comparable to anybody's.
And you were hoping as the season progresses they get even better.
Yeah. Trace Thompson, one of those. Thompson will take the pitch up high. Gallardo falls behind 3-1.
Well, he doesn't trust his stuff and getting himself in trouble. You know, this guy does hit home runs. He's got 13 of them. Big time power. You're one swing away from being trailing. And the intention was, I'm not going to give in to Adrian Gonzalez, and then you didn't want to get behind him, and now all of a sudden you got to trick him 3-1 because most young hitters can hit the fastball.
3-1 delivery to him and tailed it down and away. 3-2.
Threw him a slider. That's the way he pitches. So, I think if I was his teammate, Gary, I'd be kind of on the edge of my bench, on the bench, you know.
Every pitch?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, you know, okay, it's 2-1, it's going to go 3-1, then it's going to be 3-2. Hope now he's going to make a good pitch, and a lot of times he does.
Runner goes. 3-2 delivery fouled right straight back. Saw Dave Wallace over there, the Oriole pitching coach. A lot of folks he had to meet and greet who wanted to see him. They came and met and greeted him, in fact. They love him out here in Los Angeles. A lot of the veterans. He was here, the Dodger organization, for a number of years. Pitched as well, and highly thought of.
Well, he was their general manager for a short time. He was a pitching coach for Tommy Lasorda for 2 years.
Runner goes. 3-2. That'll go to short. Hardy will go to first. And that will do it in the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one left on base. 3 complete here at Dodger Stadium. Orioles lead by 1. RAV4 Hybrid, all-wheel drive and unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com. Looks like Manhattan Beach. Is it? With the Strand, bicycles, walking.
Close enough. I mean,
and the beach is always empty. It's one of the most amazing things I've always thought over the years. Manhattan Beach is a glorious, huge beach. There's never anybody there, and it's only about, well, as they say, depending on traffic.
Well, they have a lot of nice little restaurants and bars.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah,
they're great. But
in fact, remember the wide receiver Tommy McDonald? Mm-hmm. He used to actually own a bar down in Manhattan Beach. Funny, I wandered into there one night, and the reason I bring this up is because my first All-Star game, he actually did the paintings. He gave you like a portrait of yourself, and it was done by Tommy McDonald.
Very nice.
Yes, it was.
Wow. That ball is ripped to left field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. So Matt Wieters got one up that he could go after, and the Orioles get the leadoff man on here in the 4th inning. On Friday, the Orioles return home to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the World Series championship. That's you, Jim. They'll welcome back members of that 66 team. Brooksy's going to be there. Boog will be there. Jim will be there. Special pregame ceremonies. And all fans are going to get the 66 World Champions T-shirt. Fireworks after the game, sponsored by Midstate Community Bank.
I'm kind of hoping Andy Etcher and Barron will be there. Davey Johnson, who played second base for that team.
It'll be a great night.
Eddie Fisher, I believe, the knuckleballer.
And, of course, it was the Dodger team that we're talking about. 1966. 5-2 game 1. Grabowski got the win over Drysdale. Came back in game 2 with Jim against Sandy Koufax. Dodgers heavily favored. Final score 6-0 Orioles. Shutout. Our own Jim Palmer. Game 3, Bunker got the win over Osteen. It was a 1-0 ball game, and then McNally came on to beat Drysdale. Game 4, and the Orioles swept.
They never scored, I think, after the 2nd inning of the first game of the World Series. It was kind of bizarre, very surreal.
Heavily favored ball club in that, weren't they?
Well, they had one in 65, one in 63. Koufax, Drysdale, Wills, Willie Davis. Willie Davis was the culprit for Sandy. He dropped a couple fly balls, picked the second one up, threw him in the dugout.
Urias will take the pitch inside as J.J. Hardy backs away, and a 1-ball 2-strike count on Hardy. Rickert on deck, runner on at first base.
Yeah, the one thing about Urias at 19, the one thing that does jump out, pitch count, not only tonight, but it's over 18 in innings. So still learning to command what's 4 pitches.
Boy, that one's tagged. That'll go down towards the corner. Thompson over to get it. Making the turn, heading to third base will be Matt Wieters, and down to second base is Hardy. J.J. continues to really line some shots in the last couple of games. He's got 2 doubles in this ball game.
Yeah, he's really been able to get into hitters' counts. This is a 2-1 fastball, and he's ready. And he gets a ball in the inside half. He hadn't gotten a whole lot of those. He's off the plate a little bit. So again, that ball hit so hard that Thompson, who can run, can't even get to it.
Well, the Orioles a chance to add to that 1-run lead. A real good chance. 2 on, nobody out. Joey Rickert up, flied out his first time up. The infield will be in at the corners and back in the middle. Let's see what goes here.
Well, good fastball hitter. Look for that pitch. And of course, what does he do? He knows that. He hooks him. And he gets it over.
Orioles 2 for 5 tonight with runners in scoring position. Wieters, the lead runner, will not be going on contact. They'll hold Matt back till the ball goes through. 0-1 delivery on the way, and that's going to go through. That's into left field. Thompson over to get it. 1 have scored. They're going to bring Hardy home. Here's the throw. Thompson to the plate, cut off. Did not have a strong enough arm to throw through. Bobby Dickerson knew that, so he kept Hardy right on going. And a 2 RBI base hit by Joey Rickert, 5-2.
Yeah, the amazing thing is he gets a fastball to hit, and he doesn't miss it. They try to come in. That's what he did in Milwaukee, and Rickert's waiting. Bam. Again, good fastball hitter. You're getting your pitch to hit, and then Dickerson, the scouting reports must say that Trace Thompson doesn't throw that well, because again, Hardy running labor, a little bit of labor.
Yeah, that's what you got to know. Yep. Coleman up in the bullpen now for the Dodgers. That's a third base coach's job. Now coming in, Turner at third. There's the bunt, and it's just going to go foul. Gallardo trying to put the sacrifice down and get Rickert down to second base.
Yeah, again, Gallardo is such a good hitter and obviously knows how to bunt. Just didn't get the bat into fair territory. So again, if you don't have the angle and you bunt it behind the line, it's a little bit harder. And you really got to get the bat out in front. You want the barrel of the bat to be above the handle. And then one thing I learned in bunting before the DH is you really got to use your lower body. That gets you down for a breaking ball. And he's got a real good pickoff move. If you actually picked off one of the runners in Milwaukee the last time. And Buck Showalter talking about it on the dugout in his pregame press conference.
Again looking for the bunt. Gonzalez at first, playing it sideways. Turner coming in at third base. Does square, takes it. It will miss. Rickert will go back to the bag.
Well, I always found it, we used to, when you bet ninth, and most of our catcher either would be Andy Etchebarren or maybe Elrod Hendricks. Elrod ran a little bit more. So when you have a little bit of speed and Rickert can run, just get it down because he'll get the second. Doesn't have to be the perfect bunt.
Squares, drops a good one. Only play is going to be at first base. Utley comes over to cover. It'll be a sacrifice and a runner down to second with 1 away. A very happy 4th of July, Oriole fans, and thanks for spending holiday with us here at Masson. Head to our Twitter. It's twitter.com/MassonOrioles to enter to win a special 4th of July giveaway. That's Twitter, folks.
That's right.
.com/MassonOrioles.
Did you twit today?
I have no idea. I wouldn't know if I did it.
Well, if you were, you probably would twit. You wouldn't tweet.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't know. That'll be it for the 19-year-old starter. Reyes will head out, just unable to settle in this game as the Oriole bats have come alive, and Coleman, who've been warming up in the bullpen, will be coming in with a runner on at second base and 1 down.
Up here, boy, the Orioles. Hardy gets a couple of doubles. The Orioles, very discerning eye. They pick up a couple of walks, get some pitches to hit, so he will exit. And Louis Coleman will come on. The Orioles certainly know about him. Think about, they know him from Kansas City. He spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years last year, most of the year at Omaha, because they had one of the better bullpens. When he became a free agent, signed with the Dodgers. He's done a great job for him. Again, 218 batting average. Righties are only hitting 186. There's a low number. Lefties with a higher number. And the other thing he does, he's 14 out of 19 inherited runners. So that's the number you look at when you go to the bullpen. That's what I'm sure Dave Roberts has in mind. Orioles trying to add runs. He's trying to put the brakes on.
So Coleman will work with a runner on at second. That's Joey Rickard with good speed. Adam Jones already an RBI base hit. He is 1 for 2 in the ball game, and the Orioles now with 5 runs on 6 hits. Coleman sidewinding, that'll go to short. Runner will stay. Seager up, long throw, and gets it.
Yeah, when you're playing in the hole, again, talking to scouts, he said, well, we see him maybe down the line as another position, but he made that play look pretty easy. Little slider. He's playing in the hole. That's what Coleman throws, fastball slider. But again, he's one of these guys, especially against righties, really executes his pitches. Not a hard thrower, 91. Slider, that first pitch at 84. So he comes in and does what he's supposed to do, gets an out.
Runner still at second base, and now there are 2 away. Jonathan Schoop, he has flied out and struck out. Rickard will get a real good lead at second, and that slider away.
Yeah, we were talking about again, the Dodgers. That's the ERA, and
this is Coleman's 14th game against the Orioles.
Well, he's got a slider, and he steps. If you're right-handed, he's stepping right at you. Big guy out of LSU.
Jonathan Schoop has a look at a couple of sliders early on. He's faced him only once, 0 for 1. Coleman 0-1 record against the Orioles. 13 games, 13 innings, 4 runs on 14 hits against the O's. 0-2. Rickard edging off second, and another one just feeding him. The sliders down and away, just reachable.
Yeah, you look at their, you go on and do your numbers with all their relievers, and we saw Baez warm up earlier. He throws 97.5 or maybe 98. Coleman's only 91, but very effective because of deception and the ability to execute his pitches. Going to step right at you.
Pitch on the way, and this time came inside to him.
With movement. Yep. Well, one going away and then one coming in at you.
Well rested. He worked on the first, but only a third of an inning against Colorado. Dodgers on their homestand, their longest homestand of the year. 10-game homestand. 3 wins against Colorado to start it. Coleman's 0-2 delivery, and that one in the air to right field. Puig. He's got it, and that will retire the side of the Orioles. A 2 RBI base hit by Rickard at 2, 5-2. Orioles did it starting in the 2nd inning. As the Orioles are going to lead off base hit by Trumbo. Hardy would pick up a 2 RBI double. Puig would deliver the long ball. GRANDAL right behind him. Back-to-back home runs. Then Wieters in the 4th. Hardy with a double. Rickard would pick up a 2 RBI base hit. 5-6-0 for the Orioles. 2-3-0 for the Dodgers.
Yeah, a lot more offense than I imagined.
The Hills outside the ballpark.
Shutdown inning. Does that exist for the Orioles?
Find out here. Puig up. He picked up his 7th home run in the 2nd inning. Now has a 5-game hit streak against Gallardo. He is 2 for 8. That was the first home run he's had off Gallardo. Ian Grandal, the back-to-back homers in the 2nd inning. 0-1 delivery. Over the top, will miss inside. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Well, the Orioles looking for a little depth out of a start here in this ball game. Gallardo pretty effective so far. That's going to be a base hit. So Puig is on with a leadoff single here in the 4th inning. 3rd inning out of 4. Dodgers have had the leadoff man on base. On Saturday, Manny Magic is going to be at the ballpark. All fans at the Angels game are going to get the Manny Machado Garden Gnome. It's a 4:05 start time, and you can hashtag Manny Magic on social media to join the conversation. That's coming up Saturday at the ballpark. Tickets at Orioles.com. Grandal, the home run is 9th. He has a 4-game hit streak now. Gallardo's pitch to him will be taken for a strike. Puig over there at first base, leadoff man on. That's the way Gallardo was pitched, retiring 64% of leadoff batters on the year.
I mean, you'd like that a little bit higher, especially after they add a couple more runs. Now, Puig is I mean, he's lifetime 294 hitter, so he can hit.
Outside to him.
When he first came up, he stole some bases. Not a high percentage, 11, 12 a year, but get thrown out 7, 8 times.
YASMANI GRANDAL behind the plate. A couple of games at first base for the Dodgers this year. Couple of hits, 7 at bats off Gallardo lifetime. 1 ball, 1 strike count. That's going to be there at the knees for a strike at 79, 1-2.
Yeah, perfect curveball. You'd like to hope that he'd roll over, maybe hit at one of your infielders. The home run came on a cutter that just really didn't get in, and he blasted it. Typical year for him, 15, 16 home runs, 240 lifetime hitter, whether he's hitting right-handed or lefty.
Puig off first, foul back. He got one there he wanted to drive, couldn't do it. And a 1 ball, 2 strike count remains on him. Now the Orioles are putting runs up where others have not here during this 9-game homestand, 9-game win streak. Dodgers have given up very little here at home, winning 9 in a row. 17 out of their last 20 they've won, longest since 09 at home, and that's going to miss. Close, tantalizing. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And just remember, even though Grandal does strike out a little bit, if you go to 3-2, boy, the double play kind of goes out the window because you may start the runner. So you'd really like to make him put a ball in play on your terms at 2-2.
And he swings through it, gets the strikeout. Grandal down 4 Ks.
Yeah, he's made some good pitches, couple of mistakes, Puig and Grandal, but not this time. He just rides it up and away. So again, close enough, and then right on the outside corner. Well, you know what he's trying to do, but can't get to it. Pull it in the hole.
Now Will Venable. Venable grounded out. Orioles at double play depth. Manny Machado a step in front of the bag at third base on Venable. One-0. Puig not going anywhere at first. Pitch will be up and away, and he'll fall behind 2-0 on Venable. And Slyke has come out in the on-deck circle and will be pinch hitting in the pitcher's spot. Coleman.
Yeah, they're trying to get back into the game. Baez getting loose again in their bullpen.
And Baez up for the 2nd time. Came up earlier in the game. And that one cut on, foul tipped into the mitt. 2 ball, 1 strike count on Will Venable.
Yeah, his name over the last couple of years, at the end of last year, maybe even earlier this year, talking to him, he said, it seemed like I almost was going to be an Oriole. It never happened.
Two-one pitch on the way to him, and Venable takes that one for a strike. So after falling behind, Gallardo comes back and evens the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gallardo on the road this year, 1-1, ERA of 7.5 in the road games. Orioles have won 5 of the 7 starts he's had. Puig faked the go and a swing and a miss. Boy, that pitch had some down on it and away from the left-hander. Consecutive strikeouts.
Yeah, and again, they're almost identical. Outside corner, look at the glove. This is a pitch he couldn't throw early because, again, he had some pain in his arm. He lacked of arm strength. Richie Bansal's Oriole head trainer, Brian Ebel, put him on a program and religiously followed it and lost, about 10, 11 pounds. Got himself in shape while he was on the DL.
Scott Van Slyke with a runner on at first base and 2 away. Van Slyke will take it away. He is 0 for 8 as a pinch hitter. 1 home run, 6 RBIs overall, hitting $191, 4 doubles, and the home run, the 5 extra base hits.
Always been one of their these National League guys, 270 pinch hitter lifetime with power.
1-0 delivery to him. Down and away again, and the count goes to 1-1.
Yeah, Manny Mota, a longtime Dodger, former first base coach, terrific hitter, batting instructor. He said, boy, if this guy played every day somewhere, he'd put up some numbers. Just doesn't do it on this club.
1-1 delivery on the way, all the way to the backstop on that one, and Puig will trot down into scoring position.
That ball's got to be caught, but wasn't. Just a little slider away, and Matt doesn't react very well. Maybe didn't see it. It's almost like he thought it was going to be a fastball. So another chance to play to run.
Wild pitch charged to Gallardo. That'll be his second of the year. Now the Dodgers chance to pick up a run with 2 down, with the Orioles on top 5-2. Van Slyke, 2-ball 1-strike count. Gallardo's delivery to him, and that's going to miss outside, and the count goes to 3-1 with leadoff batter Chase Utley on deck.
Just the little things that puts pressure on him, and you don't want to give in, and then you got a guy with a little bit of pop playing every day coming up next.
He'll foul that away. The 87-mile-an-hour delivery, so yet another full count.
Yeah, another little cutter, slider, outside corner. I mean, that's part of the roller coaster ride when Gallardo pitches. Not giving in. And if he does, it's almost like it's a mistake.
So Van Slyke 3-2. Puig on at second base with 2 down. Wants the signs again. Schoop will hold the runner a bit. 3-2 delivery, and he walked it. Third walk surrendered by Gallardo. So the pinch hitter's on. Van Slyke. And Chase Utley at the top of the order. A base hit, and he is grounded out.
Yeah, all he has to do is get another base hit, and then you bring the guy, the best hitter on the Dodger team, who's on deck, Corey Seager, to the plate, and they're back in business. And that's what walks do.
There is Seager. Utley's hitting .262 with runners in scoring position. Runners at first and second here in the 4th inning. A lot of pitches thrown already in this game, and that pitch is going to be taken inside for a ball. So Gallardo, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, 1 wild pitch. Dodgers second chance with a runner in scoring position, 0 for 1. Dave Wallace watching intently as the bullpen stretches a little, nobody throwing.
Yeah. Well, Dave knows what kind of pitcher Giovanni is, and I think in a perfect world he'd just throw 3 balls on the outside corner. It's just not the way he pitches. Stuff's pretty good tonight. Got, command maybe a little bit off, but hadn't thrown 92 all year, so the arm apparently feeling much better.
Misses again. So again, a hitter's count, 2-0 on Utley. Kino standing and watching. The bullpen members. Worley sitting with the colored glasses on there. Givens to the right.
And Despaigne kind of pacing around.
Yeah.
Well, his power is inside half, and boy, he can get on some fastballs. And
Utley
right
does, and he's got a base hit into right field. Making the turn is Puig. Throw will come into third base, and an RBI base hit for Utley with 2 down. Makes it a 5-3 game.
Yeah, he got it right where we were talking about. So you're kind of lucky. That's all he did was hit a single. But he hit it so hard, Chris Davis could pick it. I mean, right where he wants it. He's looking fastball, gets fastball, and Chris just can't react fast enough. The ball hit so hard.
That'll bring Dave Wallace out to the mound.
And boy, you're just asking for trouble when you keep bringing up Seager. Another Turner's their best runner in scoring position hitter with 339, and Seager's right behind him. Came in at 305.
So Utley picks up his 26th RBI of the season, and Corey Seager 0 for 2 has popped out, been called out on strikes. will stand in with runners on at first and third.
So we asked the question up in Seattle, can they have a shutdown inning? They come south. The answer is no.
Can't hear a word you're saying.
They keep giving up runs after the Orioles score. You're right.
Oh, I wasn't kidding. I couldn't hear a word you were saying.
It's pretty loud here.
Pitch on the way, and that'll be foul back. Dodger Stadium has gone the route of Tampa Bay. Loud noise all the time. Never thought I'd see it here, but it's here. Right there out of those big speaker boxes. It never ends. First and third. Gallardo's 0-1 delivery and a big cut on a pitch down low, down on one knee after that one, and a 2-strike count.
Well, good cutter to start off Corey Seager, and then the curveball's even better. Thinks he's going to stay up, and it doesn't. Big swing.
So Seager is going to maybe have to cut that swing back a little bit. Oh, 2 count. Runners off first and third. Runner goes from first, and that one is fouled away as Utley took off.
Giovanni on the high wire act. Kind of trying to balance it, somehow get through this inning.
Oh, 2 on him. See if Utley takes off again from first base. He does not. That ball's going to be a base hit into left field. That'll score another run. Van Slyke will score. It's a 1-run ball game, and Seager's got a 17-game hit streak without RBI.
All right, what did you say? Cut down the swing, and that's exactly what he did. He just waits the ball to travel a little bit long after 2 great pitches. Giovanni Gallardo tries to sneak a fastball by him and just unable to do it.
So Seager on at first base. That'll be RBI number 41.
So
and Justin Turner up.
Yeah, their best RBI guy when it comes to average.
Espana up in the bullpen for the Orioles, just starting to throw. And that one foul back, wanted it. Fielder's choice, and he is struck out. 2-out RBIs, so precious in baseball. Utley and Seager have picked him up here in the 4th inning. That walk to Van Slyke, the pinch hitter in the 9 spot, created the opportunities for Utley and Seager. Gallardo with the 0-1 delivery. That'll miss inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, this is his 4th start since coming off the DL, and he's almost the most he threw was 97, and that was the 90th pitch.
Justin Turner last month red hot, 337. Delivery to him will be fouled off as he came back with the off-speed delivery, and he was out in front of it. 1-2.
Here you are, 91 pitches. You've gotten 11 outs, and you're pitching really just to get out of this inning. The pitch count is closing in on 100.
Orioles gave up 5 runs on 6 hits, 3 in the 3rd innings. The Dodgers starter. 4 runs, 6 hits so far off Gallardo. And we're only in the 4th inning. Gallardo will step back. Turner, 24 RBIs last 26 games. What Jim was talking about, he brings him in.
Yeah.
Now he's got to fix a toe guard.
Yeah, they got up on the diamond vision. He made his major league debut as a pinch hitter for the Orioles all the way back 2009, September 8th, when he was called up. He went 0 for 9 that year, so he didn't get a hit.
Didn't have the beard.
No.
1-2 delivery on the way. Bouncer. Runner will move up. That one took the mask off Wieters. From Utley goes. Seager did not from first base.
Heads up play. Boy, Utley goes right on the bounce. Ball almost went over his shoulder and bounced so far out in front.
2 wild pitches in the ballgame for Gallardo, who came in having thrown only 1 in his first 7 starts, and that mask ripped right off him. So 2-2, now runners at first and third. What a struggle trying to find the third out in this 4th inning. Turner waiting on it. He'll foul it away.
And he really, this best stuff he's had, not command, obviously, because the pitch count's almost at 100. And again, as we mentioned, he's got 11 outs, but he's thrown 92. He didn't never threw 92 in any of the other games. He just, his style is, hey, I'm going to nibble, I'm going to throw one off the plate, I'm going to cut it in, a little bit slow curveball, occasional changeup. And that's how you, and to their credit, they are getting hits, and he's helping with some walks, and that's how you get your pitch count higher than you want him.
2-2 delivery on the way. That misses in, and another full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Seager with 2 down will be running from first base.
And just think, if Turner gets on via the walk, if Gallardo stays out there, he's going to have to pitch to Gonzalez, and he pitched around him, walked him both times. Unless you go to the bullpen.
The 5th full count. 3-2. Runner goes. And a major league pop-up behind second. Scope will back out and will put it away. So Turner's retired, but a couple of runs in, and they do it on 3 hits to make it a 5-4 Oriole lead. Good ball game here in the 4th of July at Dodger Stadium as Coleman out of the ball game, the reliever, 2/3 of an inning and zeros across.
Yeah, Pedro Baez, a hard throwing righty. He's done a nice job for him. A lot of fastballs, why not? 97, 98, hard slider, changeups even 88. So again, very low numbers. Dominates, lefties and righties. You can see a little bit more of a fly ball pitcher. Has given up 7 home runs. Orioles have yet to hit 1. Dodgers with a couple as he comes in. National League Baseball, pinch hits early when you're down, and then you bring in your bullpen, and they do have the best bullpen in the National League.
Ranked 2nd on the team in appearances. This is the 38th relief appearance for Baez. And Baez goes to work against the Orioles and Manny Machado. And Manny will take the pitch down low for a ball. Machado, Trumbo, and Davis due up. Baez worked on the first against Colorado. Had an inning, a walk, and a couple of strikeouts. 1-0 delivery. Manny Machado in the air off the end of the bat to short. Seager has it. One away here in the fifth inning. We'll bring up Mark Trumbo. Take a look at Dodger Stadium. Unbelievable, but becoming one of the older stadiums. 1962 was when it opened. Dodgers coming, of course, 58 from Brooklyn, building the ballpark. One of the reasons they came, because they were able to get this property and construct a new yard. And the pitch is taken for a strike on the inside corner. Trumbo a base hit, run scored, and he is struck out. Adam Jones has an RBI base hit. Hardy has 2 RBIs on a double. Rickard has 2 on a single.
Yeah, Walter O'Malley wanted to build a dome stadium, I think back, what, 1955, 1956. Couldn't get the land from Robert Moses, I think, and got a better deal out here. And then talked to Horace Stoneham and the Giants to head north, and you had a natural rivalry.
New York Giants, Brooklyn Dodgers, West Coast. Pitch swung out and missed. Trumbo shakes his head a little bit. He got fooled on that one. 0-2.
Well, you don't have a lot of time when a guy's throwing 97, 98, and
44 strikeouts, 12 walks in 36 innings. Good ratio and a high strikeout number.
You got to hope he hangs a slider. I mean, that's hittable at 88.
Delivery on the way, and he came in at 98.
And he's kind of hefty because he's like 235, 240, but he's only 6 feet tall. But he's got an arm, a zoom ball. And again, never ever in the minors did anything but this, relieve.
Michael Givens in the bullpen. His wife expecting shortly, and Givens kind of a day-to-day with the Orioles as to when he's going to have to return home. Here's Chris Davis. Davis has walked and struck out. Shift fully employed here. Turner, third baseman, going back out there to shallow right field. Baez delivers and look out. Hard foul ball. For Chris, friendly confines and on the road.
Yeah, you know, on the road, I mean, Camden Yards, is there a better place to hit? So for him, and the Orioles have played, what, 31 and 13 at home, so 44 games. So still, what, 37 to go. That number will certainly come up. But comfortable pretty much hitting. If you get hit on the road, you can hit anywhere.
Baez delivers to him, will miss down low.
Yeah, that was the changeup at 90.
Pedro Baez out of the Dominican Republic, signed non-drafted free agent by the Dodgers back in 07, made his debut back in 2014. 52 games last year with the Dodgers, and tails that one down at 98.
Yeah, he comes from, I believe, Boni, Dominican Republic, which is, I think, where Miguel Tejada was born.
One ball, 2 strike count with 2 away. Orioles have been retired in order only once back in the twice in the first and third. Picked up runs second and fourth. 2-2. Orioles and Dodgers both have won 47 games on the year. Two delivery, and Davis through the heater at 98. So Baez, a strikeout it is, gets 2 of them here in the 5th inning, retires the side in order. It remains 5-4 Orioles. Serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer here in Dodgerland. Gallardo out.
Yeah, pitch count got him, nibbled. A couple of back-to-back home runs. Actually, had best velocity since he's come back. So can't win, can't lose, and Michael Givens comes on. So he pitched up in Seattle. His first pitch, Zadino hit his second home run, his first game back after coming up from the minor leagues. So good numbers. And of course the Orioles say, hey, you got to be aggressive early on, and the big number, his numbers against lefties. So we'll see if he fares better.
Adrian Gonzalez, left-handed hitter. 6 of them in the lineup for the Dodgers. That's up the middle off his glove. J.J. Hardy was moved over. He'll make the play. They get the first out here in the 5th inning. Our PNC minor league report. PNC.
Well, check out that little week there. 5 home runs, 13 RBIs in 7 games. And the rest of the season. So again, whatever he felt, you get that feeling whether you're pitching or hitting. Try to maintain it. Congratulations. What a week.
Yep. Good job. Here's Thompson. He is grounded out and called out on strikes. Givens delivers. Strike on the inside corner.
Yeah, the Zanino home run was just, he's got a good fastball. 93. First pitch down and in, and boy, he hit a bolt down the left field line. And
that was the only hit he gave up in an inning and a third on the 2nd of July. Walked 1, struck out 1. Michael Givens becoming a workhorse in the bullpen with Darren O'Day out, and no idea when he'll return. He's throwing a little bit but not pitching. 1 ball, 2 strike count.
Yeah, that was one of those games, Gary, where you really didn't want to bring Givens in. I think it was 12-4 at the time, or maybe 11-4, because he's pitched in so many meaningful games.
32nd appearance for him. There's Darren traveling with the ball club. Obviously just so frustrating for Darren O'Day. Being that DL.
Yeah, it's not your normal hamstring because it's so high, and again hoping that it's going to heal, and pretty much just having to wait it out.
Givens' delivery is inside.
And then it's also it's the right leg, the one you really explode. I don't care, I mean, Darren, submariner, one of the better pitchers in Major League Baseball. It doesn't matter if you throw 88, you still have a lot of push off from. There's a great
Givens,
slider.
Great pitch as he gets him, and strikeout number 1 for Givens. 2 down here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, the key is, look where it is. It's down in the zone, so it's maybe not away as much. The bottom drops out. You got to think, a lot of innings for a guy that was a converted infielder because of the O'Day injury.
That'll bring Puig up. 2 down, nobody on. 2 for 2 in the ball game. 5-game hit streak for him. 7th home run, 2nd inning, and in the 4th at a leadoff single, and would come around to score. So Puig up against a 265.
Tremendous strength, big guy. 6'2", 245. Great power, as we've seen all fields.
Puig on a roller to third base. Manny Machado to running throw, and a good one. So a 1-2-3 inning. Givens comes on and gets it done in a hurry. We've completed 5 here in LA. Orioles up by 1. Celebrating Independence Day, brought to you by DynCorp International, proudly serving our nation for 70 years. By Navy Federal Credit Union. Navy Federal proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years. Federally insured, NCUA. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Great to have you with us. And our special thanks to the armed forces protecting and defending every day. Sunset time over the Pacific and on the 4th of July. It's back to work day. Coming up for lots of folks fortunate enough to have the July 4th day and weekend off. For those of you who had to work, congratulations. Here's Matt Wieters. Matt with a base hit his last time up. Came around to score on the single later by Rickard. Wieters, Hardy, and Rickard due up. 5-6-0 for the Orioles. 4-6-0 for the Dodgers. Dodgers have left 5 on base. Orioles have left 3. On top of that one, rolled over on it. Utley will make the play. Pitch and an out. Take a look at our league leaderboard, brought to you by Coons.com. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting.
Well, there you go. The Red Sox, who always lead, especially because of Fenway with doubles. And you can see that's the average doubles. Toronto, of course, on the turf. JJ with a couple tonight.
JJ, big night at the plate.
Yeah, equal opportunity, right center, and then he pulled one.
He had a double yesterday, got 2 RBIs off it. 2 RBIs in his first at bat in this game off a double. Hardy will take the pitch down low. JJ 2 for 4 yesterday, 2 for 2 here.
And Pedro Baez not shy about using all his pitches. Slider, and then of course he's in his back pocket. He's got 98 with some movement. Sound like it's straight.
One-0 pitch by Baez. Dodgers came in with a run differential of 55. Pretty good. Largely because of their pitching. The Orioles run differential took a hit in Seattle. They're at a plus 39 now. Not counting the runs put up here, which would make it a plus 40. Straightaway D on Hardy, and the 2-0 delivery. Baez will catch the outside corner with it for a strike. Despaigne is going to get into the ball game. We know that because this is the second time he's been up in the bullpen. Now shall not warm up twice and not get in. Kershaw, fortunately for the Orioles and any other team the Dodgers are playing right now, on the DL.
Yeah, talking to AJ Ellis, who catches him quite frequently.
2-1 delivery, a strike of the knees in the outside corner. 97. 2-ball, 2-strike count on the Orioles shortstop. JJ picking his average up last couple of days. See where he's working him. JJ will take the ball the other way if that's where it's delivered. 2-2 pitch. Puig. Where is he? Doesn't see it. Doesn't see it. And a nice play by Utley. Utley all the way from second base. Came out to help out Puig in right field, and Puig put his arms up at least to let his infield know he did not know where that was.
Yeah, high sky. As the lights are coming in effect, and right here he puts his hands up. I don't know where it is. And Utley says, I do. And then he'll corral it. Certainly not an easy play.
The 2 down here in the 6th. Rickard with a couple of RBIs on a base hit that he picked up in the 4th inning. Joey also flying out to left field. Baez working out of the high set. Rickard will take the strike on the inside corner. Joey Rickard in and out of the lineup, especially against the left-handers. The Dodgers starting the left-hander in for the start of this game in left field. 0-1 delivery on the way. That'll be a bouncer stopped. 1 ball, 1 strike count. In the American League East today, the Red Sox won. New York lost. Tampa Bay picked up a win today to end their 4-game losing streak. And the 1-1 delivery. Rickert to third. Turner's got it. Nice play. He has had to corral a couple of shots down there in the game, and he did so again there. Orioles are retired in order. That was hit so hard he had plenty of time to get up even against Rickert. Is brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by Ocean City, Maryland. Let us show you a good time in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer back with you. Orioles leading it by 5-4 here in Los Angeles. And Kim has come on to play in left field, so Rickert is out of the ball game after making that final out, and the Orioles go to the pen.
Yeah, a little double switch. So with the pitcher coming up next inning, Despaigne will come in, and of course Kim will come into the pitcher spot and hit leading off the next inning. And Driesema's done, actually he's pitched really well. Good stuff. He gives you different looks, better velocity than I thought, and a multitude of stuff. The pitch against his fellow former Cuban, GRANDAL. They were kind of chatting. They were teammates in San Diego.
YASMANI GRANDAL, home run, and he is struck out. Despaigne's delivery to him in there for a strike. So Givens works a clean inning, retiring the Dodgers in order. And this ball game now fully a game of bullpens. Squared to bunt, had that whole left side open. GRANDAL with the shift on. Manny Machado the only one over there, and he's all the way back at shortstop.
Yeah, a little change up, and GRANDAL saying, okay, if you're going to play way back there, and they are.
Swings away on this one. He'll put it back into the seats.
Because he's already hit that home run. Got a good pitch to hit and smoked it. Back-to-back home runs back in the second. Boy, that got him right back into the game, didn't it?
Yep. Orioles hanging on. Each team with 6 hits. Orioles have still the 1-run lead. GRANDAL will take that. Look pretty good. Does not get the call on the 93, and a full count, 3-2. Venable in the 9 spot, due up for the Dodgers here in the 6th inning. First of 3. 3-2 pitch on the way, takes it, and he's on with the ever dangerous leadoff walk. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Sunset time and a beautiful evening here
It's amazing how clear it is here in Los Angeles today.
Yep, gorgeous. Here's Will Venable. Venable is grounded out and struck out. 4 walks have been picked up by the Dodgers in the game. That ground ball a chance for 2. Scope. Hardy, and not in time.
Yeah, couldn't
Maybe
get it out of the
looked at
glove.
again. Yeah, little trouble on the handoff.
Yeah, and I'm not
Scope
sure.
and Hardy.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he thought, well, I'm going to take it myself, but he's a long way. He just can't get it out, and again, it's kind of a double pump. And by the time they get it, again, if you're Will Venable, I don't know if they're going to look at it again, but if you don't run this ball out, boy, you look bad. Because you think it's a routine double play, but it's not routine if you double because you just have a slight hesitation.
And he was there. There's no challenge here. So Venable's on fielder's choice at first base. Howie Kendrick.
Yeah, those are huge plays in one-run ball games. And I think because of the double pump, J.J. Hardy had to make sure he did touch the base.
Kendrick is the pinch hitter for Baez, the pitcher. Another veteran off the bench here. 3 for 9 as a pinch hitter. Outside, Wieters holds the runner. Didn't get far away. Kendrick overall, the .239 number, 3 home runs, 15 RBIs. Playing on the semi-regular basis. Most of the regulars have over 300, 320, 330 at bats. He's about 100 less. Top of the order, Utley waiting on deck. And he'll take that one away. And a balk call by the home plate umpire. Mark Carlson, I think because he did not come to a stop. So a balk will move that potential tying run down to second base. But Showalter, you can hear him all the way up here.
Okay, does he stop? Well, he stopped.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I mean, that's a horrible call. I mean, he did. Where you have to come to a discernible stop. He stopped. Doesn't have to be 2 seconds. I just didn't see a balk there. Not, I know it. I think like you're biased because you're doing the Oriole game.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I don't think so. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the potential tying run at second base fouled away.
Yeah, they re-signed Howie Kendricks, and because the fact he had I think a calf problem early on, and then Utley started playing well. But he's played everywhere. He's played third base. He's played first base. He's played left field. He's played second base. And of course, we know him from his days with the Angels. Joe Blanton getting loose.
Another veteran in the bullpen. 1 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way. That one gets away, but again, Wieters keeps it out in front. And Venable cannot advance. It's been another one of those games for Matt Wieters.
Yeah, just tries to backhand. Boy, is it tough to do that. Just feels apparently more comfortable. It's very unconventional. Most catchers will slide out and try to center your body. And of course, Matt bigger than most guys, maybe bigger wingspan.
Howie Kendricks 0 for 3 off to Spanier. 2-2 delivery on the way, and he nasty pitch in there to get him on a swinging third strike.
Well, Despaigne, I mean, he's got them all. He's got the, give you the sidearm look. This is a great 2-seam fastball. And it just runs down and in. Howie thinks he's going to stay in the middle of the plate. It just doesn't stay there. Can't catch up with it. Gowie, a really good eyeball hitter.
So now with 2 down, it's up to Chase Utley to see whether he can tie this game up. Utley has had 2 hits, 2 singles, and he is grounded out. Despaigne 1 out away from protecting the lead. Pitches at the knees for a strike. For Utley, this will be the first look he has had at the Oriole reliever. 0-1-2 down. You may hear fireworks or even see it at some point as the fireworks shows have begun around the LA area in different locations, some of which can be seen and heard here. And that's going to tie the game up. Venable, Jones's throw cut off. Run is scored. He'll be tagged out. So So Utley made the big turn. Jones hit the cutoff man, and that's why you do it. It'll end the inning, but the RBI is going to go to Utley on the base hit to center. Big turn. Utley hit the cutoff man. You got the runner halfway. Tag, easy tag put on. We got a tie game. Throughout the Baltimore area brings you the road ahead. Visit the men's store online at mile1.com. 2 left on the road trip against the Dodgers, and the Orioles home for a day off and open a homestand Friday.
So Joe Bland comes on again, the best bullpen in the National League. Boy, he's resurrected his career. All the way back 2005 was a starter, won 12 games, 16 games for Oakland. A couple of years ago with the Angels was 2-14. Last year with the Pirates, we could put him in the bullpen. He's pitched very well, and he really got all the stuff that a starter has. He's got 4 pitches, and throws 92 to 93 with a curveball, slider, and changeup. And you can see he always has been a fly ball pitcher.
Howie Kendrick stays in the ballgame playing in left field. And Kim will get his first at bat on a double switch. He is batting in the number 9 spot. So Young-Soo Kim, Bland's delivery to him is in there for a strike. Dodgers have come back to tie the game up. The Orioles had a 3-0 lead, top of the second, 3-2 bottom of the second. Then it was 5-2 top of the fourth. Then it was 5-4 bottom of the fourth. And now the Dodgers have added 1 in the last half inning and gotten it tied up.
Yeah, the inning probably be still going on, but I just did not see the balk. But it, you know, after Utley gets a hit, it does tie the game up.
Pitch will be down low. Blanton missing on it, and a 2-ball 1-strike count. Kim, of course, has continued with a hot bat over a long period since he started to get playing time, hitting .338, 3 homers, the 11 RBIs. 2-1 delivery to him, and he stays hot. Base hit the other way into left field.
Yeah, you cannot. I mean, he just doesn't get fooled a whole lot. You know, we've seen him the bat get a little bit quicker. He can hit line drives the other way. I mean, his fastball count, he's looking really where it's hit. Kind of what Seager did when he drove in a run. So much more comfortable as the season progresses, which is great if you're an Oriole fan.
So Kim, the leadoff man, is on for the Orioles in the 7th inning. Each team with 5 runs on 7 hits. Adam Jones, an RBI in the 2nd inning and a base hit. He is 1 for 3 in the ballgame. Lifetime against the Dodgers, 4 for 13 with a home run. Blanton's pitch to him, slider, it's going to be way outside.
Oh, Gary, you made a great point. When Adam came up, you know, emotionally, when you're up 5-4 and a guy Utley gets the base hit, the biggest thing is he got him off the field by hitting the cutoff man, and then Hardy made a great throw. If you don't, the inning's still going.
Tagged in the air to center, but it's in the yard. Thompson comes over to get it. Runner back to first base. Hey, Birdland favorites returning to Oriole Park. First 20,000 fans, 21 and over, at the July 22 Friday game with the Indians are going to get the Orioles floppy hat, presented by Miller Lite. Add to your Birdland wardrobe. Get your tickets right now at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. One down, one on. And Jonathan Schoop. Schoop has not seen Blanton before. Kim short lead at first. Down to third. Nope, base hit. Schoop puts one through. Seeing eye single for Jonathan, and the Orioles have two on with one away.
Yeah, he can flat out hit the curveball and breaking ball. If you don't make a perfect pitch, and that was just a curveball, get me over. Again, it's, I mean, pretty much in the middle of the plate. He just goes out. He's big enough, strong enough, and the bat speed is good enough to hit it right by the third baseman.
So the Orioles, chance to get this lead back. Manny Machado only one away. Manny's 0 for 3 in the ball game. He has had at bats against Blanton. He's 2 for 3 off him.
Well, he's hit 2 balls hard. One to third and lined out to Utley the first time.
This one will be down low, blocked. GRANDAL makes a nice play on it.
Yeah, Blanton pitches like he's starting. I mean, he's not afraid to use all 4 pitches. And he's never been overpowering, but he's a nice mix of pitches.
Orioles with a 3 for 8 in these situations. Blanton.
Look at that average, 142.
About as low as you'll see. 1-0 delivery, and that one in the air to right field. Puig. Machado's retired. One of the tags doesn't go, and
he's going to throw it somewhere
through, but he did throw it, so it bounced by the cutoff man.
He does have an arm.
Yes, and likes to show it. Kim went back tagged up, but wise not to go.
Well, I think the most important thing is you got to hope he doesn't hit you in the back of the neck or something, because he'll just let it go.
Man on the loose in right field. So Mike Trumbo. He's Puig. Trumbo an 0 for 2 off Blanton. Orioles trying to get the lead back here in the 7th inning of this July 4 game. Kim and Schoop are the base runners. Trumbo in the air, in the alley. Puig. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 are left on. 7th inning stretch time of our July 4 game from LA.
3. Hardy drives in 2 of them. Here goes Griff Davis, run number 2, and then 3-0 lead. It's going to evaporate, hang a curve off Puig, and then GRANDAL back-to-back home runs makes it 3-2. Orioles will add 2 more on the Rickard base hit to make it 5-2, and then since then the Dodgers have come up with 3 runs, so it's 5-5. That'll be your Geico game highlights. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
We go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Ball game where the Orioles have had the lead, battled back before this July 4 is over. Probably baseball's most outstanding moment on a July 4. Lou Gehrig, Yankee Stadium.
For the past 2 weeks, you've been reading about a bad break. When you look around, wouldn't you consider it privilege to associate yourself with such a fine-looking man as is standing in uniform in this ballpark today? Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. That I might have been given a bad break, but I've got an awful lot to live for. Thank you.
1939, Lou Gehrig, July 4, as he was stricken with a disease that would become known as Lou Gehrig disease and be out of baseball and pass a short time after. Corey Seager, as we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning, RBI base hit, 17-game hit streak, into the corner, fair ball. It'll be chased down by Trumbo on his way to second. Ball rolls around the wall. He's thinking about 3. Gonna play it third, full by Scoop. He's safe with a triple.
Yeah, he can do pretty much anything. I mean, here's where it starts, right on the chalk line, and that, you know, Trumbo's going to try to get it, but he's got to play the corner, and he does a nice job. Scope's throw of him, the best throwing arm in baseball, just a little higher. It might have been bang bang. So you better make it, and he does. And you can see once again Manny trying to sustain the tag, but the throw's high. So a lead-off triple in a 5-5 game, just what the Dodgers needed.
8th hit of the ball game, and you see his 3rd triple. The infield will play in. Tie game, 7th inning. Turner, Gonzalez, Thompson in the order against Espana. Pitch on the way is in the air to left field. Runner's going to tag. Kim is there. Throw, no chance. A sacrifice fly. RBI. Turner, Dodgers lead at 6-5.
You talk about situational hitting. They started talking about it till about the 20th of February. Turner's their best runner in scoring position, batting average, but right there he's just looking for a ball to get in the air, and they're going to high-five him, high-10 him after the leadoff triple by Seager.
41st RBI for Turner, and the Dodgers have a lead for the first time in the game. Pitch will be taken by Gonzalez. 2 walks, and he is grounded out. The game that was turned over to the bullpens with Gallardo going only 4. Reyes going only 3 1/3 for the Dodgers.
Well, you're finding out. I mean, you're seeing how important Darren O'Day. You know, they extended his contract by 4 years. He's been lights out for the last 4 years, and nothing against Espana. It's just when you get into tie games in the late innings, boy, it's nice to have him being able to pitch. Brad Brock's done a terrific job. You got a great closer, one of the best in baseball, but you're missing a back end of the bullpen guy, and it shows.
3-0 delivery on the way, not swinging on that one. Look at these clubs late in games. The best run differential, 7th inning on.
Well, great offense for the Orioles. The Dodgers probably do it more with the fact that their pen is so good. Not that the Orioles isn't.
Hit him in the batter's box, foul ball.
But again, it's not as good as it would have been if Darren O'Day was available, but been out for a month.
Chaz Rowe in the bullpen.
And again, it's fine if your starters are maybe pitching a little bit better, which you mentioned on this. You know, since Game 7 of this road trip, the ERA is over 7 runs a game. That didn't go down tonight either.
No. 7 games. Starters have gone 33 innings. 3-2 delivery on the way, and he walked him.
Then a tiny strike zone. And Gonzalez takes the low strike.
The Despagne staring in, as many have. A runner on.
Well, the biggest play for him was last inning. The balk was an on-balk. Said he didn't stop it. I didn't see that at all.
Well,
but they still got the big hit. And they've gotten the big hits.
Here is Thompson. Now it's limit the damage. Keep it at 1 run. The Orioles certainly the ability to get runs late, as you saw. Pitch will be in the inside corner for a strike. Thompson has taken an 0 for 3 in the ball game. Trace Thompson checking down at third base. Chris Woodward, their third base coach for Dave Roberts' Dodgers. 0-1. Little breeze out to right, but not affecting anything in play tonight. Did he go? Nope. Nick DeMuro down there.
Yeah. Livatore, they really had another nice year. Of course, everybody in that bullpen. Not a whole lot of weak links out there.
He has to pitch on July 4.
Does he ever?
1 ball, 1 strike. Thompson, a little swing and bunt. Good play by Wieters. He jumps on it. Thompson's got some giddy up. It'll move the runner down to second base, but there are 2 away.
Yeah, really athletic. So he gets down there very quick. Let's see if he's in the. You can see how far out he is. Now he comes back over where he's not in the 45-foot line, but he comes back right on the chalk. Eventually, you're going to have to tag the bag.
So the Dodgers have a runner at second. A run in here in the 7th inning. Leadoff triple by Seager. Sac fly by Turner. Now another runner in scoring position. Yasiel Puig. Home run single. 2 for 3. 2 runs scored in the ball game. Puig will take it inside. Dodgers on the ball game 3 for 6. Runners in scoring position. The Orioles have had more chances tonight. They're 3 for 10.
Well, Utley's got 2 of those hits, and Seager's got the other one. And then you can, to me, hitting a sacrifice fly, runner on third, that's almost like should be a runner in scoring position number of sorts.
I agree.
Yeah.
Tap foul. I mean, that's getting the job done.
Yeah, it really is. You know, the leadoff triple in this inning. Looks for a pitch he can get in the air, and he's able to do it. Now again, fellow Cubans 4 for 8.
Puig's had a hit in at least 11 of the last 13, at least 1. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way. Ground ball to third base. Manny Machado's got it. Manny will make the toss over. That will retire Puig. But here in the 7th, a run, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left, and the Dodgers lead for the first time. honors those who have served and all of our service members at home and abroad.
So Adam Libator comes on. You really don't know where to start other than the fact he does have all the pitches, fastball, slider, and a changeup. And fastball around 92, but well, he's second among NL relievers with an 0.68 ERA. 34 out of 35 games, hasn't allowed a run. 21 consecutive of those. Opposing hittings are only hitting 167. So having a great year, and that's part of this outstanding #1 bullpen in the National League. You're getting kind of the message you don't want to be behind in the late innings. We'll see if that can change tonight.
Libator will face Chris Davis. Davis, 2 strikeouts, a walk, and a run scored in the ball game. Libator, second among NL relievers, an ERA with a .68. He has not given up a run in 34 of 35 games that he's appeared in. For Chris Davis, take a look at the interleague long ball numbers. 20 career interleague home runs hit by Crush. And he'd like to do that again right here. Wieters and then Hardy. Shift on against him. Left-hander's pitch. He was going for it.
Well, you can see again, these guys, they have great arms. They have great command right there. Grandal just puts the glove 0-1 right where he threw it, trying to get the ball up out of the zone. And that's another thing. Hasn't allowed a home run in 19 appearances.
Comes out of Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania.
Oh, home of Joe Namath, I think.
0-2 pitch on the way, and that will be down low. He appeared in 39 games with the Dodgers last year. First time appearing in the majors after having had 5+ years at the minor leagues. He's 29 years old. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Libator against Davis. Chris puts one way up in the air. Shortstop Seager, and he's got it. 1 down, the 8th inning. Follow Orioles baseball live with the MLB.com @BAT app. Stay up to the moment, any moment. Game day, live game highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com @BAT. #1 app for live baseball for your phone or tablet. One away in the 8th. That Wieters a base hit and a run scored in the 4th inning. He is 1 for 3. Libator way over on the side of that rubber, third base side. And the pitch is there for a strike. Their bullpen, Coleman 2/3 of an inning, nothing. Baez 2 innings, 2 strikeouts. Blanton an inning, 2 hits, the rest zeros. Now Libator, look where he stands. He's barely, talk about on the rubber, he's barely on the rubber. 0-1 pitch on the way, and that'll be inside and down low. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Matt. Orioles trying to avoid a season high 5-game losing streak and get their first win in Dodgerland.
Hatcher getting loose.
One Wieters away.
Wow.
2-1.
Similar to the first pitch. You're not going to get the borderline pitches, it doesn't appear. And
Brad Brock and Chaz Rowe. Rowe up for the 2nd time. 2-1 delivery on the way. Wieters check swing. Did he go? Nope.
It held up on a good changeup. So Libator comes out of the Tampa Bay, came over with Peralta, and Greg Harris went down to Tampa Bay, and Greg Harris is now one of the better setup men in baseball for Houston.
Libator goes 3-1. Orioles down a run. Wieters, another towering pop up. First base this time. Gonzalez. 2 down. Join us again tomorrow. Game 2 of the 3-game set. Chris Tillman will be on the mound. Ken Tomato will make the start for the Dodgers, and our coverage on MASN 2 930 O's Extra presented by Jeep. Our game coverage will be at 10. All the access you need right here on MASN.
So Maeda, who's pitched very well for him. Look at the low ERA. Chris Tillman lost up in Seattle. Had never done that. Had won 9 in a row, so certainly having a good season. There's been a little bit of a struggle lately because of the home run ball. Good place to pitch here at Dodger Stadium, though.
2 down, nobody on. Hardy's had a big night. 2 doubles, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs, and he has popped out.
Yeah, when you're pitching well, I mean, a 3-1 count, Matt Wieters looking for a ball he could drive, just chase one out of the zone, and it looks like Liberatore's pretty adept at hitting that outside corner, and not leaving balls in the middle of the plate. And another big guy at 6'3", 240-ish.
And another one. The strike taken on the outside corner.
I mean, it's just perfect pitches, and that's, you don't all have to throw like Baez did, throwing 98, if you can command your stuff. And
no doubles defense in the outfield. Playing deep just off the warning track in left and center.
Look at the target.
0-2 delivery on the way. Challenged him with a pitch away. 1 ball, 2 strike count.
Well, you get an idea, though. I mean, you know, you're pitching to the glove, and he just missed it. Rick Honeycutt has done a terrific job. He's been here about 11 years. Great starting pitcher, reliever in his own right.
Here's the 1-2 delivery, and he got it. 1-2-3 inning. Liberatore comes out, gets Hardy on the strikeout. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Dodgers up by 1.
Just want to thank all the military men and women out there. Hope you have a happy 4th of July.
Yankee reliever, former Oriole Andrew Miller. The media has been throwing a few things out there, but I've had reassurance from them, the Yankees. At times I've talked to them that it's something that hasn't been discussed or planned for anything like that. I think that's kind of nice. We label that "be careful" because generally when things like that are said, the next day you're traded.
Yeah, well, they're going to get, if they don't stay in the race, Aroldis Chapman has equal value, and I mean, you got to keep somebody if you're going to win down the road.
And he's left-handed.
And they have Andrew Miller for another 2 years at a reasonable price.
YASMANI GRANDAL leads it off at the bottom half of the 8th inning, and the pitch taken away. Espana stays out for the Orioles. Grandal with a home run, 2nd inning, back-to-back with Puig. He has since struck out and drawn a walk.
Yeah, the walk turned out to be the tying run. And that kind of triggered the 6th inning, and then he would be balked to 2nd, and Utley would get him in.
Espana with the 2-0 delivery to him, and that'll be hit hard. Adam ball. Adam gets it. Hit ball had a rocket underneath it, and he thought it was coming down right to him, and it kept on going.
No harder play. The bullet right at you, because you don't know if it's going to take off or right there. And right now he thinks, and then boy, he makes a nice adjustment. Kind of took a step in, and then this is the end of the play where he got some hops, so to speak. Otherwise, that ball goes over his head for a double or a triple.
Chris Taylor will come on as the pinch hitter. Hitting in the 8 spot. Kendrick is hitting in the 9 spot. So Taylor up with 1 down and nobody on. Jansen getting ready in the bullpen. A lot of bench gets used in the National League. Taylor will take the pitch. It's game number 6 for him as a Dodger. Not only 10 at bats, a couple of hits, 10 at bats with the Dodgers. 1 down, base is empty here in the 8th inning. And Despaigne misses outside.
Yeah, Jock Peterson, their center fielder, ran into the wall, so he's on the DL. So they brought up some younger players.
Came up from AAA June 25.
Yeah, the Orioles saw him when he was playing for the Mariners. See, and again, if your approach is you're going to go the other way, I mean, that's not a bad breaking ball. But he's willing to hit it to right field, and you're trying to pull it. It's a ground ball to shortstop. So he just lets it travel and then sees it travel out of the hitting zone.
He wipes that one, and that's not going to get there. And yet another of the multitude of 3-ball, 2-strike counts that we have had in this game. Despaigne quieting himself as Taylor stands back in. 3-2 delivery to him. He'll foul that one off outside of third. Tough ball game. The Orioles behind by 1. Will have 8, 9, and 1 due up. Let's show all his club bats in the 9th inning.
Well, at the end of the day, the Orioles have been scoring, with a couple of exceptions, a lot of runs on the West Coast. Just giving up more than they're scoring, and there's a breaking ball. So they came in, giving up 44 runs in the first 6 games. So now that number's up to 50. 50 in 7 games. It's higher than you want to be.
Despaigne surrendering the walk. That's 3 of them he's given up.
And a lot of options to your Dave Roberts. You got a little bit of speed. You got a guy that can handle the bat.
Howie Kendrick. 1 down, 1 on. Dodgers trying to add to their 6-5 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. Kendrick, a strikeout victim, and the only at bat that he has had. Taylor back over to first base. Despaigne will try and keep him at least standing straight up, if not leaning back to the bag here.
Well, he pinch hit in the 6th, and they end up striking out, but because of the balk, after the walk to GRANDAL, he would end up scoring on the Utley hit. But Despaigne threw him a great 3-2, but again 3-2, down and in, couldn't get to it.
1-0 count. Pretty good lead. Taylor at first base. Swing and a miss on a better pitch down and away. Despaigne, 1 ball, 1 strike count.
And then you go back to that the 6th inning after the GRANDAL wall. Wasn't that when it was a perfect double play ball and Scope couldn't get it out of his glove? Because if he does, GRANDAL's off the bases. So just the little things tonight. That and the fact that their bullpen's been terrific.
1-1 delivery. Runner staying, so he went outside, inside. Now Kendrick fouls that one off his leg, foot, and a 1 ball, 2 strike count.
Or off the calf. It's amazing what foul balls can do. Catchers, umpires, hitters.
It'll find skin no matter how much protective equipment you got on. 293 career hitter. Howie Kendrick. 1 ball, 2 strike count on him. Taylor's on at first base. And back to the bag. Espana in his 8th appearance. He too being used regularly in these games where the starters are not going 5.
Well, it looked like he has a rubber arm. Just you know, it's one of these, and even in San Diego, when they score 11 and 12 runs, just not a lot of easy innings. You know, you don't get guys to turn over, roll over, hit double play balls.
That's down the line, and it is a fair ball. Another one of those that'll ricochet around the corner. Gonna wave him home. Taylor coming. Relay throw by Schoop. Not in time. A double and an RBI for Howie Kendrick. Matt Wieters thought he had him. He wants Mike Showalter to take a look at the video.
Well, a lot of good things happen there. I mean, you know, it starts with really Kendricks, and there's Chris Taylor. He's going to go. He's running hard. Trumbo gets to it, so he does his play, hits the cutoff, man. Scope's got a great arm, makes a great throw. Taylor's got speed. So this is, let's see, gives him the lane. Foot is well across the bag when he tags him.
And they're going to challenge. Like Showalter had to get the attention of home plate umpire Mark Carlson. They want to look at it, so that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, maybe if you slow it down, he had the shoulder. It just appeared, like, again, from the naked eye, that
kind of like nothing to lose here.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, obviously, you'd rather have it 6-5 and 2 outs. And Kendricks will still be at second.
John Russell, the bench coach, talking to the video people in the dugout while Buck came out, so they'll look at it here.
So is the foot up? I guess that would be the only thing. I mean, you can't really tell from that angle. Maybe you can see it right here. A lot of slides. The front foot goes up in the air.
He's safe. So it'll be a double and an RBI for Kendrick, and that is a big run. Now a 7-5 game, and Buck Showalter will come out and make a pitching change, and yet another walk comes back to haunt as Despaigne, the 1-out walk to Taylor, the pinch hitter, results in a run. So here in the 8th inning, the Dodgers add one. They lead it now 7-5.
Those are his numbers down at AA Bowie. You can see those are starter numbers. They'll get a chance to see his stuff.
Aquino over from the St. Louis Cardinals. That was on April 7th. He has been around. He's only 23 years old, but He has pitched in the minors with Colorado, Toronto, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Baltimore. This is his first major league appearance. 23-year-old at Bowie, 4 and 7. Chase Utley with a runner on at second base. Howie Kendrick, who picked up the RBI on the two-bagger. Utley's had an RBI base hit, 3 singles. And the pitch will be taken away for a ball. He is 3 for 4, 2 RBIs in the game. So Aquino is now in the major league record books. 1-0 count, still only 1 down. With a run in here in the 8th. Espana, 2 1/3 innings, 3 hits. Walked 3, struck out 1, responsible for the runner at second. Aquino will miss outside with it, 2-0.
Yeah, so not a great fastball at 89. Known for his changeup.
Did a great job holding hitters down in the games he pitched at Bowie this year. Left-hander, 2-0-1 delivery, and he got one to center field. Adam Jones with room. Runner tagging. And going over to third base will be Howie Kendrick. Utley, though, retired, and there are 2 down. Follow the Orioles baseball live with MLB.com at BAL AT. Stay tuned for any game. Live day video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download it. MLB.com at BAT, #1 app for your phone or tablet. So Aquino now with a runner at third and 2 away. Jansen's ready to go in the bullpen for the Dodgers in a save situation. Well, Seagers, he got another one in that bat. He apparently has got a lot in that bat. A triple run scored in the 7th inning, RBI base hit in the 4th. He is 2 for 4, has the major league's longest hit streak going at the moment at 17 games. Aquino's delivery to him will be inside, 2-0. Seager against the lefties came into the ball game hitting at .256 and .320 off righties. 2-0 pitch misses, 3-0.
Yeah, it doesn't get a whole lot easier with Justin Turner waiting on deck.
Allowed only 22 walks in 80 innings at Bowie. And we'll get the strike in there, taking all the way with Seager. Kind of surprised he wasn't ripping on that pitch.
I think when you're that hot, when you're hitting in 17, you don't mind hitting 3 and 1. You don't. There's no need to hit 3 and 0.
3-1 delivery popped up down the third base side. Machado will not have a play.
I certainly see your point, though. You probably figure you'll get a fastball 3 and 0, maybe not 3 and 1, but this is a youngster on the mound.
Seven runs, 9 hits the Dodgers, 5 and 8 for the O's. Kendrick at third. Full count delivery on the way, and yes, he's got one, but right at short. Hardy on a vicious line drive hauls it in. A run in. They pick it up at a hit. We go to the 9th inning, 7-5 LA. transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Gary Thorne and Jim Palmer as the Orioles need a big ninth inning. Trailing it 7-5 in the first of this 3-game set, in danger of losing 5 in a row.
They're out of Curacao at 6'5", 270. Their closer, 23 out of 26. Cutter with an occasional slider. And he throws it over about 73% of the time. You can see righties have a lot of trouble with 117. So, and because of the last out, just get a guy on. I mean, that's where it all starts. Get a base runner. See what can happen.
Ryan Flaherty is going to be the pinch hitter for the pitcher Aquino. So he breaks into the majors, working 2/3 of an inning and getting both batters faced. Pitcher of record, Despaigne for the Orioles and Blanton for the Dodgers. Jansen, 23 saves out of 26, as Jim said, is third best in total saves in the National League. Ryan Flaherty, and he will take the pitch for a strike. Dodgers trying to make it 5 in a row and their 10th consecutive win at home if they can put this ball game away.
And he's only walked 5, so again, very low whip, walks and hits per inning. But he makes you put the ball in play. And again, the cut fastball, it's the old Mariano Rivera pitch that got him over 600 saves and a lot of movement. Plus, he's huge.
Ryan Flaherty with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Facing Jansen for the first time. 1-1 deliveries fouled back. And it's time to visit MassonSports.com/CareFirst to vote for tonight's Care First Fearless Player of the Game. Live fearless with a name trusted for over 75 years. Care First. Blue Cross Blue Shield. Hardy with the 2 big doubles, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. And a good offensive night for the Orioles. 1-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way. Check swing. Did he go? No. Quinn Walcott down at third. The Orioles get a break on that one.
Well, yeah, what he's looking at, and how far the bat traveled, and it traveled. It's not about breaking your wrist, and the Orioles look like they got a break there. Dave Roberts going, well, it wasn't good early, David, but you got a lead.
2-2.
Well, he knows. I mean, Dave's been around long enough to know what the Orioles are trying to do. Somehow get a guy on.
Henson's delivery's right there.
Yeah, target up, ball down. And Mark Carlson up with the right arm. I mean, look where the target is. They've been hitting it, but he gets it over. And again, 96. He's got a terrific arm. And I think Ryan Flaherty's last at bat was June 22nd, so it's been a while.
Yeah. Here is Kim batting in the number 9 spot. 1 at bat, came on at a double switch, picked up a base hit. Adam Jones, leadoff batters on deck, 1 down, 9th inning. Dodger bullpen has gotten it done so far. The 5th reliever used by the Dodgers in the ball game, with their starter going just 3 1/3.
Well, you talked about it. They had given up 1 run in their last 23 innings, their starter staff, so the bullpen was well rested. Orioles, because of the lack of good pitching out here, bullpen just the other way. There's the cutter
strike. Kim trying to get on, get the potential tying run to the plate here in the ninth.
So I don't want to have anything to do with that 94-mile-per-hour cutter on my fist.
One ball, 1-strike delivery. Nasty in.
There's another one. Yeah, Kim goes, wait a minute. They didn't throw like this in Korea. I mean, what, velocity, movement. And he's really good. I mean, you can see him very late trying to pick it up, and then somehow, which he's done so well this year, get some part of the bat on the ball.
28-year-old right-hander delivers and will just miss as he moved that one a little bit away. And a 2-2 count.
Once again, high target, low ball.
Trying to get a save. Two delivery on the way, and somehow gets a piece of that and fouls that one back. Well, each time the Orioles are able to pick up a walk, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield contributes $50 to the Be More for Healthy Babies. Orioles have 245 walks, a total of $12,250. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Kenley Jansen with that unusual set position he comes to. 2-2 delivery to Kim and chased it. Heading fooled. He was looking inside.
Yeah, I think, you got a cutter coming at you, and you got this fastball at 95. He throws two of them. And that one ball just zooms away. So you can see where the front side is going, kind of in the bucket. Because he hits a little bit like Ichiro, where the body will move, but again, he usually has such bat control, but not against that stuff.
So Kenley Jansen out of Willemstad, Curacao.
Well, you're seeing why if they get one more out, they've won 18 out of 21. If they get a lead with this bullpen, tough to come back.
Adam Jones on a big cutoff him.
This guy reminds you of Lee Smith. Pitched for the Orioles for a while, had over 400 saves. Big, make the ball look really small.
Adam 0 for 2 against him as the Marine Layer, also known as Sea Smoke, comes settle it into Dodger Stadium as they get set for a big fireworks display after the game. 0-1 delivery on the way, and he fouls that one right straight back. Last time the Orioles lost 5 in a row, September of 2015. They're 1 strike away from that here, but they do have 1 strike to work with. 0-2 delivery.
And then Jansen goes to what a lot of guys do, where he's been stopping it, and he just kind of goes into a windup trying to throw it by Adam Jones, and he flicks it foul.
Jansen can get this out. The bullpen will have gone 5 2/3 innings, no runs and 2 hits.
Hey, Gary, we get all the numbers, and then you see firsthand why they're as good as the numbers tell you.
As the 0-2 delivery on the way, Adam will take it outside. 47,378, 47,378 on their feet here at Dodger Stadium for game 1 of the 3-game set. And the Orioles will be 0-4 all time in this ballpark unless they can come back with a big rally with 2 down. Jansen with the 1-2 delivery to Jones, and Adam not going easily here. Fights that one off, trying to get Jonathan Scope to the plate and bring the potential tying run up here in the top of the 9th inning. There's Jonathan. Very familiar, as we said, with Jansen, both being from Curacao. One-two delivery in the air at the mound. Look out here. Jansen decides to take it himself, and that's a ball game. 3 up and 3 down here in the top of the 9th inning. 7-9-0 for the Dodgers. 5-8-0 for the Orioles. Blanton will pick up the win. He is 4-2. Espanier will take the loss. He is 0-1, and the Orioles have lost 5 in a row.